Yeah, your camera's a little bit low. Hello, how's it going? And you're listening to Let's Drone Out. Hello, little Stella Fox.
How are you?
I'm all right. Say hello, Tony.
Hello, Tony.
Right. Hello. You're listening to Let's Drone Out, episode 152. Which, if we weren't going for several years, then it might sound like we're doing, like 3 or 4 years. But anyway, we're joined by Andrew / Frank.
Hello.
Little Stella Fox.
Hi, guys.
NJ Tech.
Hello.
My little Tony.
Bonjour.
And my best friend, Curry Kitten.
Hello.
Ooh, friend, best friend.
Tony's got a new best friend. Stella Fox, there's one question I've always wanted to ask you, and please don't take offense.
Sorry, that was me.
Are you a furry?
No, not at all.
What? Yeah, but it sounds like you've got like a fursona on the go.
I mean, I like animals. Don't get me wrong, but I've never really even tried like the dressing up as one and doing things type of thing. I mean, it'd be fun.
Straight away, not quad related. Typical. Let's Drone Out.
Tony, would it do it more for you or less if Stella Fox? Would it put you off?
What, dressing as an animal?
Yeah, well, fox.
Yes, it's abuse.
All right, don't dress as a fox then.
I think what Jack is trying to ask is, how did you get your name?
Yes, how did you get your name?
Oh, actually, it's something that my mom used to call me. As inappropriate as that sounds in comparison to what you just said. But it's a nickname that my mom used to call me when I was little. So it just sort of wasn't one of those things that I tried other handles for online stuff before, and I kept coming back to this one, and it's just the one I stuck with.
I barely heard that. Can someone relay?
You're just going to have to watch it back, Jack.
No. You've been flying packs as well, like today before work. So, like, you're like a pro pilot.
No, not at all. I just wanted to get out and get a couple in because it's been raining like really hardcore here. So I had a couple of like an hour between needing you to get ready for work and it raining. So I thought maybe I would sneak a few in.
Oh, well, this is a weird role reversal. Usually it's us complaining about not being able to fly because of the rain. And we've had like 5 straight weeks of sunshine.
Yeah, we can't fly because it's too hot, and we're all moaning about it being too hot.
I don't even care if it's too hot. I'll sweat out there. I don't care at all. I would rather it be hot and sunny than raining.
Here. Definitely.
Oh, right, that is cool. And Jay, do you want to say something sensible?
Sensible? What do you mean? Sensible as in drone-related things? We can probably kick off talking about a few things that are probably relevant. I wanted to question Frank quickly. You have posted an article earlier about these new rules and bits kicking in and various updates. So why don't you kick off with that so we can get that talked about and out of the way?
I'm fisting death for this.
Yeah. Thank you, Stella Fox. She'll be coming back on the 16th.
Cool.
So
yeah, let's get the elephant out of the room. I'm sure loads of people in the chat are here because of this. So yes, there has been for quite a while the plan to have a height limit for model aircraft in the UK. Well, I mean, it's not that long in the scheme of things, but we've known about it. It's been coming that from the 30th of July, model aircraft or all UAVs would be limited to 400 feet.
Regardless of weight.
Regardless of anything, yeah. Without exemptions from the CAA. And the BMFA and FPV UK and the SAA, I think, which is a Scottish Aero Modelers Association, and the LMA, which is a Large Model Association. They all sat down with the CAA, the Civil Aviation Authority, to try and work out a way where all the members of those associations could carry on doing what they've been doing without being limited to the new height limits. And they managed to get it released and all published and everything on Monday, the 23rd of July. So that will be ready to come into place on the 30th of July. But interestingly, it specifically doesn't include multi-rotors. So regardless of whether anything's FPV or not FPV, or got stable, gyros or not gyros, or GPS or whatever, if it's got more than one rotor providing lift, then it's limited to 400 feet without another exemption. So that's kind of that. Well, I'm sorry, Jack, but that's bullshit. You're gonna have to do some editing here, because this has made me really quite angry.
Frank's gone crazy. He's only smiling mostly.
Frank just swore.
Yeah. So yeah, I've been on the show. I've said, it's all right, lads. We'll all get behind the BMFA, and the BMFA will fight our corner, and we'll all be in with the. We're in the fold of the Aero Modelers now. They're accepting us. We're allowed to fly at a load of fields. We're being involved. They've got an FPV part of the achievements, and they've got a multi-rotor A cert and B cert, and they're including us. And now they've gone, actually, no, you lot can hang out in the cold. We're not gonna include you in with us, which, yeah, that's just annoying, because at the moment it's only this 400-foot to 1,000-foot band that multi-rotors aren't allowed to fly in, and that's the only difference at the moment. But over the next year, they're going to be drawing up rules about registrations. They're going to be drawing up rules about the sort of licensing-ish, so examinations online or through an app or whatever they come up with. And a host of other rules are going to be talked about and tabled and all that kind of stuff. And this is, okay, I might be wrong, but as far as I can tell, this is the first time anywhere in the world that multi-rotors have been legislated differently from any other kind of UAV or model aircraft. When I contacted the BMFA about this the other day, was like, what's going on here? First of all, the cheeky bastards tried to blame it on Brussels and say, oh, it's the EAA or EASA, categories and specifics and whatever, and it's part of that. And I went, no, it's not. There's no mention of that in any of those documents. You can do find word in all of those documents. There's not a single mention of multi-rotor, quadcopter, rotorcraft, any of this. This has come out of this new exemption. This is the first. This is a precedent, a new precedent.
Well, I think that's probably the real problem here. It's not so much that the 400-foot rule is an issue. I think it's a sensible height, and I never need to feel the need to go higher than that anyway. That's not the problem. It's the fact that it's the precedent of how we're moving forward, because once this kind of new model apartheid is in place, yeah, this is just going to pave the way for how everything else is. It's going to be an us and them, and it certainly does make me, because recently I went through renewing my insurance, and this is the first time I've now gone back to the BMFA. I was always BMFA when I was flying all my helicopters and planes for decades, but I then went with FPV UK, and now I've gone back to the BMFA and I'm kind of regretting it, because as soon as that's up, I'll be going if this is their attitude. But yeah, that's not good. That's not a good thing at all.
Yeah, so the cheeky bastard tried to blame it on the European legislation, on Brussels, and I picked him up on that and said, no, it's not. And for the other reason that a few months ago, BMFA and CAA were claiming victory for having rewritten that bit of draft legislation to be sensible. So now they're saying, oh, Brussels published this bit that we wrote for them, and that we're just following that. And it's like, well, first of all, you wrote it, and second of all, it doesn't include anything about multi-rotors or rotorcraft or any of this new stuff you've come up with. So then they admitted, well, actually, no, it's purely political. We needed something quickly that everyone could agree on. This is a definition of a drone that we can sort of say, oh, look, that looks like a drone. That doesn't look like a drone. And that's where this has come from. Which I think is bollocks.
Frank swore again.
Yeah. You've had fucked hard Frank. Now you've got fucked off Frank.
I mean, I wonder how much of the model, again, it's just everything so damn vague, isn't it? In terms of how they're specifying what's what. And they clearly try and be vague on purpose with lots of grey areas for argument. And I think this is part of the problem. I mean, if you're someone who's part of that model club and you've built a, I don't know, let's say, you spent £2,000, £4,000 on a twin engine Chinook helicopter. Now that's multi-rotor, right? So yep. That's going to fall under this class, and all of a sudden that thing's got to be following the same. So that person's going to be upset as well. I don't know. This just feels like the usual thing of just being vague on purpose, and when they have finally given some direction to it, they've just monumentally messed it up. And I don't know if this is them testing to see what the backlash is, or whether they genuinely think this is the right way to go forward.
Far be it from me to say, hey, I don't trust the BFMA to look after people. I think they're in protectionist mode, as I mentioned several months ago.
Yes.
Can we go back to the fight the power thing now, and just
so
renegades and start flying?
Yeah, this is exactly. I want to apologise to all our listeners who I said, oh no, it's the BMFA have turned over a new leaf and they're accepting us in just like they did with the helis. And now not only have they not fought our corner here and thrown us out in the cold at this point, but there's also an interesting news article that popped up and was shared around a bit on BBC South yesterday, where a massive fuck off 3D heli went smashing through someone's house where there were builders on the outside of it, and narrowly almost got hit by this thing. I think it was like a 700 size heli. And the news coverage, they interviewed Dave Phipps of the BMFA, and he starts bringing up drones. It's like, hold on, mate. You just said that, like the two things are separate, and now you're bringing drones into it when it's a bloody helicopter.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. So, and there's plenty of sadly there are plenty of actual deaths related to 3D helicopters. There's been a decapitation. There's one in Florida years back, and
New York.
There's been some nasty accidents from their giant carbon prop 700 size spinning bandsaw in the air. That I'm not saying that what we fly aren't dangerous and can't be abused, but at the end of the day, we've still not got the record of problems that both planes and helicopters have, and it's just unfair that they jumped in and penalised us like this. But it's as you say, it all comes down to that same thing. It's the precedent that they've set moving forward that is now a massive uphill struggle for us.
Exactly.
So is everyone going to change insurance next year?
Well, the thing is, FPV UK were in the same the same conversations. So I spoke with Simon Dale about this as well and got his opinion on it. And I will try and dig out the emails I got back.
Yeah, I'd be interested in Simon's opinion.
But let me bring it up before I shoot my mouth off. So he was saying that it's because the government basically it's the same sort of thing. The government is worried about people being allowed to fly drones, and this is an easy way of categorizing them, basically. And it was difficult to get the other sorts of models and FPV separated out. And this is just one that basically, from what I can tell, is an issue of time. They'd been given the deadline of the 30th of July, where if they didn't agree something, then everyone's fucked. And they decided that rather than risk pissing off the rest of their members, they would chuck us out of the balloon, to be honest. So yeah, I think it's the same.
Frank is angry.
I am.
Frank is really angry. You've never sworn. You've sworn 7 times.
It's just unbelievable. It's no, this is not the problem. So, you know, the airline pilots and whoever said, it's UAVs, and BMFA were like, whoa, not all. And then, you know, they said model aircraft are fine, and then they've gone, not all model aircraft. It's ones with only one rotor or wings.
Yeah, they've got absolutely no basis behind saying it's the method of. I mean, it's so anti-aircraft engineering to think in that way as it is, because you add rotors and you start adding more and more points of lift. You're adding redundancy. It doesn't make sense to suddenly say that this is an angle for Y. It's just down to the fact that you know that multi-rotors are accessible and so easy to fly for a much larger market. And it's unfortunately it's the Maplins warriors and people who take them out and do stupid things that are.
Well, that's the thing. It's all down to like the whole
group with them.
The whole spirit of all of this is they're trying to pick up the people who do stupid things, and it's trying to find something where very clearly these are the people who do stupid things, and all of these other people are generally trustworthy. And you know, we've been put on this side of we're not trusted. And I think a lot of us, if we were given our way, would say, well, it's like you say, it's the people who go down to Maplins and buy something ready to fly and fly that. When actually, thinking about it, the majority of those people fly it perfectly fine and aren't, that ridiculous about it. Especially given, particularly DJI's whole setup of geofencing and all that kind of stuff. It makes it very easy to comply it, but it's also very easy to follow the rules. You get a leaflet with it saying don't fly in these places. You get all the things up on the screen telling you where you can and can't fly. And it's fairly easy for a someone who actually is going to listen to the rules to follow them. So I think actually this whole thing is a witch hunt, because what we're really trying to find is people who break the rules. And if they're breaking the rules, then why we can find them on that. We don't need to go around saying, other people who ride bicycles have been known to smoke a joint, therefore we're going to ban bicycles. It's just completely unrelated. It doesn't matter.
Frank knows what cannabis is. Holy. What?
Talk
Oh,
What
to
yeah.
is
us.
this? What
Um,
the hell?
Did you manage to find Simon's response?
So yeah, I've got.
I found it.
So-
It's right here. Hang on.
Yeah. So hi, I said, "Hi Simon, any chance you can shed some light on the reasoning behind the blanket exclusion of multi-rotors from the exemption? Thanks." Simon said, "Hi Andrew, because the government has introduced new legislation to stop drones flying too high. There was no way they would allow a loophole where people could just join the associations and be exempt from their shiny new legislation. It was very difficult, almost didn't happen, to persuade them to not also catch all other kinds of model flying and FPV in their new legislation. The old FPV exemption will also be reissued from 1,000 feet to 400 feet, and so multi-rotor FPV flying can be done under that only."
So
But it's
we can-
exactly what it allows people to join the organisation and get exemption if they're not flying a multi-rotor. So again, what's the difference other than the fact that some people say it's harder? Apart from you can buy a parrot wing,
Exactly.
can't you, and chuck that in the air?
Yeah.
Although they've put up that special exemption about no automatic, no automotive, what's it called? Autonomous mode over 400 feet to try and exclude that.
Yeah, it said automated or automatic flight. But if you've got that, then why do you need to say multi-rotors? It's just, the problem is, if you are trying to deal with people that buy something out of a shop and don't know what they're doing and just fly it without any skill or any knowledge or any background on it, then the automated autonomous flying is what you're getting at. The multi-rotors are incidental because we could have a helicopter with a NASA on it or something, or you could have a like you say, the parrot fixed wing, which could, you just chuck it in the air and it'll go through waypoints and all of that malarkey.
Yeah, and the other thing is, even pretty much like 90% of helicopters now are flybarless, and they're all you've got exactly the same digital connection between you and the quadcopter as between you and the helicopter as you have with a quadcopter. It's still going through a PID controller. It's still using an interpretation of what your stick input is, computing that and stabilizing that in exactly the same way your quadcopter does, but with different set of outputs. There's no huge difference. I mean, if someone suddenly takes a wing out and does all this stuff, and again uses return to home and flying waypoints and all that, it's such a ridiculous argument.
Yeah,
it's nothing more than trying to zone in on us as a group.
Yeah,
and this is horrific, really.
But yeah, but again, to that point, if we started saying automated, then I don't know, is that really fair either? Like, if you have someone with they had at the mini air show with the Southampton, the big thing where they had a radio there, holding it on a switch, and it was doing whatever it was doing, and they were ready at the flick of a switch to take it out of automated mode and fly it themselves. I don't really see that as being any less safe, to be honest. But anyway, there have been a load of questions in the chat. There's a few of them that I think are probably worth answering. The most important of which is, can we do anything about this? And besides, like, things that are threatening people, although I might end up doing it, the best way is that, I mean, first of all, if you're in a club, like any BMFA club or something like that, please contact the people who are in there who can represent you to the larger BMFA association and let them know that actually you're an aero modeler who flies multi-rotors and you're a bit peeved that BMFA haven't stuck up for your corner when they're supposed to represent all of us and all that we do. And secondly, probably be worth emailing the BMFA or whoever your association is, if it's FPV UK, SAA, LMA, and let them know as well that actually you don't like this idea of being separated out from the rest of the ranks, and you should be involved. If you're part of the BFPVRA, then I would suggest you let them know as well, so that they've got a backing, and they can go to the BMFA and go, we've got quite a few people that are a bit unhappy with being separated out. There's also a consultation that has been opened up by the government about some new legislation that's separate from this, as far as I understand, but I still need to actually read around it and get my head around it. It was only released this morning, and I haven't had a chance to go through it in depth. But there is a consultation on the government website, which I will make sure is posted to the LDO page, so facebook.com/Let's Drone Out, so that you can give them a piece of your mind in that consultation about whatever other bullcrap they've come up for that.
Are we allowed to swear at them?
I would recommend not swearing to them. I think that might not help our case.
Okay.
I would suggest...
What happens if we set ourselves on fire?
That's not going to make you look like a well-trained and
just do it under 400
mastered
feet, please, Jack.
Yeah.
Can I just make like a gif of Frank saying fucktard over and over and send that to them?
Oh, can everyone stop saying fuck?
Yeah. So yes, the consultation, I'll also post up on that. Hopefully I'll be able to read it over next week and let people know about that the next episode as well. But it's probably a good opportunity to get your voices heard and let people know that you are a responsible aero modeler who flies multi-rotors and rotorcraft, and you think being separated out is not reasonable and should be undone before they start writing more legislation based on this precedent. Ooh, cheery.
That's my finger. YouTube.
But yeah, that is my recommendation. Also, let everyone know. All the people that you know who don't watch this show, all the people who do watch this show, just share it when you're out in the field. Let people know that this is going on and it's bollocks, and you need to all get your voices heard.
You've not sworn this much in 3 years as you have tonight.
It's...
Go on, say it. Say even worse, a swear word.
No. Put me on the spot. But it's not right, and we need to get it undone before anything else happens. We end up having to have a nutsack stapled to a board before we're allowed to fly anything. So yeah.
Who's going to ignore it?
This is another thing.
I think I might.
So we've got this weekend. This is the last weekend where
my washing machine's loud.
Where there is, well, I can't hear it, so it's fine. This is the last weekend where there's none of these new height restrictions in place. So I would recommend everyone goes out and gets the next 10 years of footage. Just you sit on it and just release it slowly over the next 10 years. There's loads of clever filters that can make the weather look very different and the location look very different. So, you can keep it varied, I'm sure. But just go out and get a lot of footage this weekend.
Personally, what I've been working on doing is throwing my GoPro by hand really high. Like it looks like it's in control and spinning and stuff. I might be releasing some of that.
You've been working on your free flight models.
Exactly.
That's allowed.
Just throwing. Yeah. Free flight models are allowed. Anything that's not very safe is allowed. Like not having an autopilot. Brilliant. If it goes out of control. Big helis out of control, no problem. And just free flight models, not a problem.
Well, the problem problem with big
control is
helis being
worse.
out of control is drones, you see. So
Yeah,
why.
exactly.
It's probably drones jamming the signal and causing
Yes,
issues with
exactly.
the helicopter pilots.
Yep. So yeah, I would say get your
So this is our last weekend. We can do 1,000 foot.
yes. So
Okay.
let's go do something.
I'm
You want
gonna
to
go.
dive the I-360 in Brighton?
Yeah. How
But
high
that's
is
If you're
that?
going to do
500.
that, you're
that-
ignoring the rules anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but what if you did it with a?
You mean from 50 meters away? A parallel dive?
Ah, yes, but it's got a very narrow field of view. It doesn't look like it.
There's some weird optical effects that sometimes happens. It looks like you're right next to it.
Yeah, we've got a like 5mm lens on it, but it's just we've got a fisheye effect in post.
I imagine what I might receive is lots of anonymous footage that gets sent to me and ask me to edit it and put it on YouTube.
And
stuff.
being the very altruistic video editor that you are, you will feel obliged to publish it.
I would do that for free,
keeping
yeah.
The original person's, original pilot's name's anonymous.
Well, I don't even get this. They just
true.
appear in a
Through
inbox.
disposable emails.
What happens if you release a helium balloon?
That's under different rules.
Okay.
So if you want to release something, then you do have to put out like all sorts of things like NOTAMs and stuff.
Yeah, no time for that. Yeah.
So this is something.
Well, even if you buy a grandma a happy 90th birthday helium balloon and accidentally let go.
I don't know, to be honest. It's been a long time since I read that legislation. I used to read it because of kites. In all honesty, used to do kites, and there was stuff about how high you
Is
could
there
go.
law for kites?
Yeah,
Oh
tethered balloons and kites. There's all sorts of that. But the releasing stuff like balloons and Chinese lanterns and all that kind of stuff, there's a form for that. And rockets. That's all in the same form.
There's a form for Chinese lanterns.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm sure everybody that releases
Wow.
them around New Year's Eve has filled in that form.
Yeah,
And
you
has
know what
said,
I mean?
I will be releasing this randomly into the ether.
Apparently
To see
they
what
kill
happens.
owls. Why do they kill owls?
They kill owls, they kill sheep, they kill all sorts of things. The Chinese lanterns farmers hate them.
Because they just
Well, when
land and
they-
set stuff on
How
fire,
does it kill
probably.
a sheep? A sheep's flammable.
Yes, of course
I'd
they are.
imagine they are, yeah.
As
It's a
you
particularly dry evening, and
Yeah.
you're
It's
there
like-
just
it's a
chilling
Am
out.
I
roasting
on
sheep.
drugs?
That's awesome.
Andrew said joint fuck and hard, and now you're telling me sheep's are flammable.
Of course they are, man.
If you opened your screen door and this sheep on fire just ran across the field, I'd just close it and go back
Have you not
inside.
seen Black
pick
Sheep?
up the sake.
That's a documentary.
No, what?
Black Sheep.
No.
It's
Tell me
called,
there's-
isn't
please
it
tell me
called
there's a
charge
documentary
sheep?
on this. I'd love it if there's an actual documentary on sheep that get caught on fire by Chinese lanterns.
This sounds a little bit like, those barbecues, you just light the end. It's like you can do that to a sheep and you've got your lunch sorted
You've
out.
got your lamb
Yeah.
shank at the end of it.
Oi. Settle down, lads. Settle down.
Zero, why do you think I don't like bears?
Whose washing machine is that?
That's mine, I'm sorry.
Can't you pause it?
I can't hear it.
Mine's got a pause button, Jack. Surely.
No, I don't.
It's called the plug. Pull it out.
What? Bradder's muted RC dude?
Well done, Brad. Hello, Bradders, in the chat.
View deleted message. What's the deleted message?
What?
Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Shall I say hello
I
to
think
a
they're
couple of
mates.
people?
Say hello,
Little
David.
emojis.
Zero's in the chat. Mikey Dread's in the chat. Tornado Go. Gal's in the chat. Joker Vision's in the chat. Joning on. Isle of Mole FPV is in the chat. Green Patches, what's up, dude? Falling with Styles in the chat. We've got... I can't even say that name. I'm not even going to bother.
I
Hi,
don't
Bill.
know
Bill.
before.
That's the one.
Oh, sorry, RC dude. It looks like Bloody
Phil's in
Bradders
the chat.
accidentally did you?
Zero's in the chat. RC Dude's in the chat.
How do you undo that?
Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in.
This might be the downside of making everyone a mod in the chat. Occasionally things are
He's a
going to
proper
happen
mod.
like this.
Shall we have some good news?
Go on.
So Painless is almost at 100,000 subscribers.
Wow.
So
Wonderful.
if anyone isn't subscribed to him,
100,000.
he's got, I think, he's got fewer than 500 to go. And he's got a special video lined up for that. So if you want to go over and subscribe to him if you haven't already, I know you don't need to subscribe to him because you just search in YouTube for a problem and it comes up anyway. But yeah, go subscribe to him and support him. Yeah, that would be good. I had something else, but it's completely left my head.
How was your holiday, Curry Kitten? I know you went somewhere very hot and beautiful, didn't you?
Well, it was quite hot, but it rained a lot. It's a slight problem. Don't go in monsoon season and expect it not to rain. Sometimes you get away with it, but we didn't. So I've got lots of really nice underwater footage, like facing upwards with the camera, just to see the rain hitting the water, interestingly. But yeah, it was good. But I wasn't allowed to take my quad with me. Is what I found out. The island had actually banned all flying devices, and it's not like I could just fly it and then run away because it's like 900 meters long.
Just be running in a circle.
Yeah,
To the Benny Hill theme tune.
Yeah, exactly. So I had to not take it with me.
Oh,
But,
well. That's all right. A ban on all flying things is fine.
Yeah,
Come on, let's not go there again.
they didn't say just quads.
Yeah.
Or anything like that. That was good. I did see the Anafi drone in Dubai Airport. Interesting enough, they were selling it there. Not that you could take it on any flights because you can't carry drones in hand luggage from Dubai. They have to go in your main luggage. So I don't quite know how people were doing it. They've got it's the only airport I know that sells the entire range of all drones ever, but you can't take them. I don't know how that works.
That's a bit silly.
Yeah. We flew this weekend. Me and Jack and Tony and who else was there?
How was that? Because last time you kind of lost your mojo when I was sort of catching up on stuff, and you were having problems with your haunted goggles that were screaming at you, and the fact that you couldn't manage to get. Had you actually flown with goggles on yet? That your FatSharks.
I have now flown with FatSharks on.
Ooh.
But it was terrifying because I hit the button that made it into the 3D mode and I couldn't work out what was going on.
I did that before. It's like, oh, I'm just going to turn the DVR on. No, that's the wrong button.
I was just putting my goggles down. It's been working fine. Okay, take off, put my goggles down. What's going on?
You flew on Saturday.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, I have flown with FatSharks, I guess. But I haven't flown with my FatSharks. Before a couple of weeks ago when I have now. But anyway. But yeah, we flew. Who else was there? Danny was there. Is there anyone else there? Am I missing someone?
Bradders.
Bradders was there. I knew there was someone.
How could you forget Bradders? No one forgets that boy.
Orange.
Yeah, it was good. It's a good little blast. I made sure I got Jack out.
Yeah, we kind of
dragged him.
Pressured Jack into leaving his house on his birthday and actually flying something. By literally pulling his stuff out of the door and getting him into a car. And we drove up to a little rugby club thing, didn't we?
Yeah.
And you did it.
Sorry, guys. This is Painless. Say hello, Painless.
Is he on holiday?
Can you hear him?
Just about. Yeah.
Hang on. Here. Say it again.
So what are you doing? Holding the phone into the mic. Hello.
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 Everyone said hello. So yeah, no worries. All right, no, cool. Take care. Bye.
Never off duty, is he?
No, bless him. I know. Like, it's 8:45. I'll phone Painless up. He still answers.
They're 5 hours behind, aren't they?
Yeah. When was the last time you flew, Jack? Before this week? Before the weekend just gone?
Oh God.
The last time I dragged him out, probably.
Maybe with Digby Dan, I think.
Was it when we went to the that little place you like up on the downs?
No, I flew at the same spot with Digby Dan, but further down. I think that's the last time I went out. That's it. There's a few people that want to drag me out, but yeah, my health. It's getting to the point where, like, with the legislations and my health, I'm just like, what the hell am I doing? I feel so out of the loop.
We dragged you out at the weekend and nothing terrible happened. You didn't die.
No, I know. I'm sorry. I know.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I enjoyed spanking little Tony's bottom. That was very enjoyable.
That
Tony,
was your birthday treat.
Yes, it was a brilliant birthday treat. And Tony got me this beautiful card. Hang on. Wait. Let me just get it.
You have to tell them what's in it. What was in it?
So this is Frank's card, everyone. This one says, because nothing says happy birthday like a piece of folded card. So and then this one's from Tony, and it says, to my wife. If there's anyone that you're my wife, I'm bigger and hairier than you. So you're my wife. You use a Hoover way more than I do. That's very. I'm not being chauvinistic or sexist, but I'm slightly being that way, stereotypical. So
that's a good point. I haven't seen any of Tony's live streaming of his chores for ages.
Yeah.
Untapped reservoir of
no, that's it. They've gone now.
So
that was just a one-off.
So when I was telling Digby Dan about that, I opened the card and he was like, I was like, yeah, you never believe what Tony got me, my wife. Open this. Happy birthday, princess.
See, all on the same wavelength, Jack.
Party your buns off. So yeah, it's great. But yeah.
To be fair, you did want to go to Trans Pride for your birthday. So.
Yeah, and Tony refused because he's a xenomorph or something.
I'm just not gay.
You don't have to be gay.
I don't like tranny tucks, you know that.
You do. Everyone does.
Where's Andy when you need him?
Anyway, you're off the market now, Tone.
Yep.
So, is she watching?
Pass.
Hello, Mrs. What's her name?
Mrs. Tony.
Lizar. Hello, Lizar. She's dyslexic as well because she can't spell Lisa.
It's a good match, isn't it?
Yep.
Should join the club quite well because.
Sorry, RC dude. Bloody Bradder's muting you with his arse whilst driving. So, if you want, report him to the police using his phone whilst driving. Just subscribe to NJ, by the way.
Oh, thank you very much.
Clive FPV. He's very sexy. Don't let your other half see that, man. She might get pregnant.
Yes, what was that? NJ something like 50 away from 10,000 subscribers.
Something like that, I think.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah, Ladders in the chat says, "Oi, Andy, you're Northern. What's a tranny tuck?" Unfortunately, he's not here.
Where is Andy? Has anyone called him?
I don't know.
I don't know if he's under the weather or something. But
is he watching?
He's watching. Probably melted.
He might have melted.
I'm sorry, but the person you've called is not available.
You just try and call
Leave
him.
your message after the tone. After you finish your message,
Should we all
just hang
shout?
up, or
The message is
delete
going to
it.
start with, "Oi, Andy, I see you're Northern."
We'll be done for copyright infringement for having that recording on here now, Jack.
Really? No, it's less than 9 seconds. Anyway, hello, Andy. You're listening to Let's Drone Out. Oi, Andy, you're Northern, aren't you? What is a tranny tuck? And there you go.
There you go.
Sorry if anyone finds that offensive, but Tony said it, not me.
It is. I
Nothing
find it
wrong
offensive.
with typing that into Google.
I've got a reel of wide blend tape, so we could use that for a demonstration if we need to.
That's good stuff. That is.
It
That
is.
and Captain Tape. Like a good bit of Captain Tape.
Capton tape. Look at that. NJ releasing his fetishes. Gotta point that out.
It's not quite as good as the fiber reinforced tape. That's like,
Ooh.
yeah. That's
Yeah,
good stuff.
we won't say what that's called.
I got a few interesting things to look at that have turned up.
Did NJ just adjust himself?
No,
It looked like you had your hand down your pants, NJ.
no, I'm holding on to my vape.
Oh, ladies, if you need that, yeah, if you can just skip to someone timestamp that, so that no, Paul in Star says he was doing the tuck.
It's doing the tuck. Dear oh dear. Yes, I got some interesting things turn up. I'm still waiting for my X-Lite to turn up, which was in Belgium 5 days ago.
Yeah.
So I'm not quite sure how. It's taking 5 days to get to me from Belgium, unless it's going via China.
It probably took half a day to get to the UK and the other 4.5 days to get through customs.
I don't know what's going on with it, but yes. Anyway, that's not turned up yet. I'm looking forward to it. My main objective with that is just I've got to know whether it's possible for me to get on with that thing as a pincher, because I hear some people say yeah it's fine, and some absolutely say don't. I think Stu from UAV Future said, just a big red X next to the word pinchers, which I thought was a bit of a sweeping statement. I might absolutely love the thing. But I did get some nice bits and pieces to look at. I have got one of these new, they're not that new actually. I've had it for a little while, but I'm now paying it some attention. Is that the new-ish TASG jumper, the multi-protocol transmitter. With the 4-in-1 module in it, so you can basically run absolutely anything on it, and that's pretty cool. And Richard Warwick in the chat said, how's the Leader 3 going? And I do actually have the Leader 3 in front of me, and I am working on a review for it, and I might be able to show you if I press this button. We magically get a flashy view.
Look at that.
There is said Leader 3 SE, which is the one with a little shark fin on top. But yeah, that's and
That looks pretty nice. Is
a
that
motor which I'm cleaning out at the minute. But yeah, it's just a wonderfully put together, beautiful soldering.
does that come like that?
Yeah, it comes like this. Flies so well. There'll be a full review on that coming up, but seriously happy with the performance of that guy. And then I've also been messing around with these as well. These are rather nice, which are the new Mike over at Hobby RC's got these. So these are the new AC 4S 650 milliamps, so perfect for going under a 4S capable light 3-incher.
That's not how you do a tricopter, you know that, Enjo.
Yeah, yes, it's a little backwards. Sorry, there we go.
So look who's got what's it called again? I don't use it. Hang on. OBS working.
Yeah, I might have OBS working. Well, I'm using it for doing stuff on the channel now, but I've just found out via Andy, actually. Andy showed me there's a plug-in so you can route it to you as pretends to be a webcam, which is how I'm able to do this.
I gave you the link for that.
Did you?
Maybe
I need to show a little bit of credit.
Oh my!
Yes. If anyone wants to see these turned up today.
These are from the UK, yeah.
These are Halo RC, and he spent ages.
I tried RC, dude.
They look lovely,
and they are absolutely. I mean, the spec. I was looking at the spec list earlier. This really is just beautiful precision engineering. Even little details like the fact that it's got a little lip on top the wires to stop them moving. It's like the RS. The race spec Emax, these wires can sometimes come up and touch the underside of the open section.
Yeah,
if you get a live crash, like everything's retained nicely. but the bearings are super high quality, really nice knurling. Yeah, I mean,
Nice little grip for the prop on there as well.
How long did it take
Bloods have done those? They're really good.
to stop prop slip? Do you know what I mean? It's
It's not only got that look; it's got a little retainer as well, a little
Allen key thing. Yeah,
compression cap that goes on top. So between the knurling and the cap that goes on top, those props aren't going anywhere.
Nice.
But yeah, these are wonderful, and they're actually a 22. These are 2205 2500 kV, and he's also doing a 1700 kV version for 6S, and this is for lightweight racers. And he sent me the lightweight racer to have a look at, so I'm going to build all that. And now I've got this set up, I'll probably do a live build because I can.
Sweet.
But yeah,
you got a few questions. What weight from?
They are something like 20.
No, the quads, I think.
Oh, the quad. That is, I think, as you see it there, all weighed up, it's like 93, 94 grams, something like that.
G asked, where did you get your mat?
That is from Halo RC. So yeah, if you go to halorc.uk, you can actually order those. They're nice. They've got all the wiring patterns for all the different receivers and stuff, which is cool.
And it's a UK company as well.
It is, yes. It's
And Brighton to Life Fly asks, blow us a sick vape, NJ.
NJ's frozen.
Mysterious smoke for the camera.
Oh no, he's frozen.
NJ has frozen.
So you can follow NJ with his new lease of OBS on Twitch/CloudCake. I don't know how you spell that, but
yeah, I don't do much twitching. Maybe I should do a little more twitching, but yeah. So, and what was I going to say? Yes, Curry Kitten. What new goodies have you got arriving that we need to know about?
Not much. I was looking at cheap stuff because no one wants to send me inexpensive stuff. So I was looking this week. This has arrived when I had come back from holiday. People that don't want to risk putting expensive cameras on their quads because they're new and might break them may be interested in this SQ12 camera or this Firefly. These are little teeny tiny things.
They're great. I ordered one yesterday. It's not here yet, but they're perfect for these things like this leader.
Yeah, little.
They're like 15 grams or something, is it?
Yeah, look, this is the Firefly one. This is the size of it.
And that's in the mount, isn't it?
That's in the mount. The other one's even smaller. And so this will either go on a very small quad, or if you don't want to, risk a GoPro or something. Obviously, it's not quite, it's not going to be GoPro quality. It's 1080p at 30 frames a second. But I wanted to see how it would handle, obviously, the jello and stuff, put it on a reasonable quad and see how it is. The other one's even smaller. A friend of mine recommended this. He was
so that's the SQ12's the smaller one, is it?
Yeah, the SQ12. This is absolutely tiny. Check this out. Looks at it's this big.
Oh, and how much is that one?
It's like 12 quid.
Really? So, and that's 1080p 30 as well, is
that's
it?
That's 1080p 30. So as long as it's reasonable, someone just got the SQ13 now.
They look reasonable. It's the quick change, the light change. What's bad on them?
Yeah, they're always
dynamic range, isn't it? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, it's the dynamic range. Yeah, but it's kind of like I was looking at this either for putting it on very small quads like the 2-inch, 3-inch, where I looked at the DVR stuff before and I quite like the quality of the stuff you get from DVR. So I want to know, is this a step up from the DVR, and are you going to be happy with it or not? So I thought I'd get a couple of these, I'd compare them, stick them on the same quad, fly them around.
I think it should be. I mean, considering, the DVR onboard DVR recorders are sort of starting to become popular as they're getting easier to shoehorn into the smaller stuff. But still, most of those DVRs will only get you a 25 frames a second. So if it's got a 1080p 30 FPS sensor, and it can't, surely it's got to be the preferable quality to go for one of those.
It wasn't that many years ago that we thought flying. Do you remember the little 808? With the C style lens? I've still got one on a wing.
The keychain camera.
The little keychain cameras working at 720p, and you were getting quite reasonable stuff off those. And again, the light handling on the dynamic range was very bad, but you were still getting reasonable picture. And I was thinking, if that's like as good as that for 12, 13 quid, it's hard to really go that wrong on it, really.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, even if you crash and it falls off, it's like, well, any more than an hour searching, it's like, I'll just buy another one. Actually, it's like the SD card's going to be more expensive to replace than the camera. So.
Yeah, that's a very good point. MC Creations actually just mentioned the Cadix Turtles, which is kind of a split mini or the split micro. It's very similar to that. I think smaller and lighter, slightly bigger lens. Now, I've had a look at the HD footage of that thing, and I was shocked at how good it looks. The HD footage looks amazing, but the FPV footage is what concerns me, because the FPV side of it looked a bit grainy and not very nice.
I absolutely hated the split. I couldn't get on as far as the FPV live footage. I thought it was
horrendous. That a 1 or a 2?
I only had the 1, and
yeah, so the two's a big improvement. Yeah, because I had both, and the 2 is in one of my Diatone prototypes, and it's actually pretty decent. It doesn't have as many of the problems as the 1 did, but yeah, the 1 I ended up giving that away because yeah, it was a bit rubbish, as you say.
Aren't they just too laggy?
No, I don't think so at all.
No,
I think they're fine for freestyle.
Problem. It was basically the light and the noise I got. I mean, as I said, the 1 was really bad. There was noise all over the screen. It was the fact that I was trying to follow a quad, a friend's quad round. I really couldn't pick it up, and I switched to another quad and followed him in like a proper camera, and it was like, this is perfect. I can do this now. So it didn't really work. I mean, it worked as a sort of, I'm gonna just fly around quite casually and try and just get some footage and not have to have a GoPro. But as soon as you wanted to really use it as a proper camera and do some proper flying with it, it sort of let you down, because that detail that you didn't have, trying to sort of go through tree gaps and that sort of fine detail that you just can't pick up the edges of stuff well enough. Yeah, well,
it's something that's still it's like so much of it. It's all still maturing, isn't it? Someone's going to nail it at some point, and everyone will jump on. But as long as they keep coming up with this stuff, we'll keep testing it.
Yeah. Well, we flew with Oscar Lang Saturday, and he had a run cam split. I don't know if it was 1 or 2, but it was so laggy. I was just watching the feed, and I was just like, I could not fly that.
Yeah, I wonder if that was the 1. I mean, I've got the 2 micro one in my Diatone, and that was absolutely fine for me. And I'm quite sensitive to that lag problem.
I think something. I mean, Bruce put a video out the other day, didn't he, where he had a run cam go into sort of lag mode and was only giving X amount of frames back every second on his live picture.
And this is the other thing, is some of that run cam stuff is buggy. I've seen several different, for instance, the run cam, the one that GoPro managed to get shut down, the run cam 3. Was it 3 they called it? The orange cube. Yeah. I've seen my one had this problem where it was constantly shutting off. So I'd end up landing, and there was like half the file had been recorded. It just turned itself off in mid-flight. I've had so many reports of that from other people, and others that have been fine. My friend's one, my friend Rob, we went out flying the other day, and I was convinced it was down to this just overheating and it not having very good thermal management. And we went out and flew in that 33 degrees of heat, and his was doing this problem before this flight. And then we went out, and every single flight it recorded each one start to finish in the blistering heat. So it might have been the opposite way around. It might have been the cold affected it. But yeah, I see a lot of inconsistencies in RunCam stuff. And I think one problem for that is the fact that RunCam just push stuff out the door so damn fast. And I think they could just do with backing off and spending a little bit more time ironing out problems. But they're relentlessly fast. They're the beta flight of the camera world. But yes.
No. Again,
You're still angry, aren't you?
I am.
Frank is so angry.
Frank's broken. Who broke Frank?
BMFA broke
Does
Frank.
anyone have a good? This is what I was going to try and say. Does anyone have a good recommendation for micro FPV camera? So like there's the RunCam Swift, Micro Swift, and the Microswift 2, Microswift 3, and I think the 2 and 3 are both still going. And I'm just, what do people?
For micros, my opinion is this: it's just been flooded now, especially with makes like Caddx. You've got Foxeer, Runcam. There's just and a whole bunch of clones out there as well. And there's now this, the lines slowly starting to blur between the CMOS and the CCDs. Personally, in a micro, I just my personal opinion, I'd still stick with the CCD, go with a Swift, a Swift micro. I just think they give the best light handling, best dynamic range. I mean, I've tried a few micro CCDs, CMOS cameras that give an amazing picture until you fly them, and then they start doing weird stuff with the color gains, or the dynamic range seems to wig out a bit. I've not tried a CMOS apart from the Eagle Pro 2. I think that's pretty good, but I think they do a micro version of that now actually as well, so I might need to try that out. But yeah, in my experience, I'd say the micro Swifts are still a pretty solid bet for all light conditions.
Yeah, and I compared the Micro Sparrow with the Micro Swift in the same quad, and I got picture was quite nice on the CMOS, and the light handling was all right. But I picked up Jello, which wasn't there in the Micro Swift.
That's a problem, isn't it? Definitely a trait of CMOS cameras that you can't really do much to get rid of that.
But there's the Micro Swift 2 and Micro Swift 3, which are both being produced still because there's something different about them. I think it's just one's got a big lens, one's got a little lens.
Yeah, it's got the M8 lens, the Micro Swift 3, hasn't it? Or it's got the M12. And which way around is it? Is it M8 the small one, M12 the normal one? Something like that. I can't remember. And the quality of the micro lens in the original Micro Swift and the Micro Swift 2 is really, really good. I use the 2.1, and that's just fantastic. I can't fault it. All the quads I got with that.
Cool. I may get one of them then. I'm listening to your suggestion and looking at getting FPV on the Bonsai. So I was going to get a micro thingy and a nano Unify as well.
Yeah, cool. I think it's either the Swift or the Eagle Pro 2. I think the micro version of that is very good as well. The only thing with the Eagles are they're a little bit noisy, but it probably won't bother you once you're flying. It is a very nice picture though. Those would be my two picks.
Cool.
Right. I'm gonna call it here, but we're gonna carry on. Tony is very quiet tonight. I know it's because I upset him earlier in the chat. I gave him a little wind up and I taunted him with...
They're having a lover's tiff.
I know. He was so lovely to me on my birthday.
Yeah, exactly. So shut up.
I named...
Just see it out and shut up.
See, this is what I get.
Be nice to me, or I'll just leave.
Where would you go, Tony? Where would you go?
I don't know, to my bed.
If you didn't have this every Thursday, you'd be even more lonely.
I'm not lonely. I've got my dog. I've got friends. I've got real friends. Oh, friends. Friends that actually come out and fly, friends.
Yeah, that haven't got diseases, I know.
It's dis-ease because you're not at ease.
Win does have a good point in the chat. Press the like button and give Jack a good thumbing up. After all, it's been his birthday.
Oh, thank you. Gentlemen. Right, you've been listening to Let's Drone Out. Been joined by Andrew / Frank.
Goodbye.
NJ Tech.
Ta-ta.
My little Tony.
Bonjour.
And Curry Kitten.
Bye-bye.
Oh, best friend.
Best friend. I'm going to go see him next week.
Oh, friend. Never got the petrol to see me, but can go down to Portsmouth. Oh, friend.
Yeah. I'll get a private jet down there or something.
I'm going to send selfies to you, Tony. Us kissing and stuff.
Yeah. in bed together. Right, don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. I've been bright until I fly.
I want to see that.
We're staying on for a bit longer. Yeah, because we've got special guest in the next 10 minutes.
Right.
Andy RC's boss, Grant Martin from FatShark.
Yeah.
He's just finishing off his dumplings. And he's gonna come join us. So yeah. I feel, seeing as Aniseed's not here.
Why don't you just wait until, like, can't you just do it another week? Because
No, yeah, he's going to come back on. It's like little Stella Fox. Today's a tease day. Like, they come on for a little bit, and they'll come back later.
Why is teasing you so much?
Yeah. Tony likes to be teased. Tony likes his nipples tickled.
Oh yeah, Ash, droning on. He is doing a live stream at 2 a.m. with someone from America who I don't know, but is apparently quite important. I don't know. But yeah, that's a thing. People might want to go watch that. I can't remember his name.
I would say if you want, I was on his show once. He invited me, and he's a good lesson in how to raise money if you really want to whore it out there and say stuff like "Give me money, and people do the super. What is it called? The super chat thing. And it dings up, and whenever there's a ding, he gets excited and waves his hands and says, "I'm going to send you a sticker."
Can we do that? Can we do a super chat thing where Jack does that and gets flags and stuff?
Don't get Jack started. Like, it's not going to happen.
No, it's bad enough we have to ask for Patreon to keep this show afloat because, well, YouTube.
Thanks everyone for tuning in and watching.
Yep. Don't forget, guys, I will be on at 11 on the Thursday night show playing 80s music and cranking over the loss of my friend Tony. So I've had to select two friends, Frank and Curry Kitten, to fill the Tony-sized hole in me. Whereas Tony has easily filled the Jack-sized hole, which is Joker Vision. Joker Vision will be replacing me when I die on this show. Hopefully it won't be long. So Joker Vision, by the way, if anything happens to me, Joker Vision has to fill in. So Tony's new best friend.
Do we have to give him a gorilla mask?
Yeah, he can have the gorilla mask.
Yeti mask.
Yeah.
It's getting weird again. Can Frank start swearing?
Yeah, you can swear now. I don't have to edit this bit.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for tuning in.
Why is Joker Vision better than me? Is it because he knows girls?
Because he can leave the house.
Fucking comes out.
Yeah, I know. I won't. Hopefully, I won't always be like that.
I dragged you out on your birthday. You actually come out.
Hitman is on his way to Jack's. Fantastic. Just put me out my misery. Tony would treat me like old Yeller. He'd just take me around the barn,
shoot you in the head,
bean light thing. I don't know though. You wouldn't.
I'd probably stroke you first, and then I'd shoot you. I'd like do something.
Because Wally poos everywhere, and you don't shoot him.
Well, I know, and you do, and I haven't shot you yet.
Yeah, I suppose.
So count your lucky stars, bruv. Anyway, Frank, what did you want me to do on Saturday evening? X-Class stuff.
Yeah, I'll stand there looking at a DJI screen, and you fly the X-Class round it.
Okay.
You don't want to fly Tony's DJI; it goes batshit crazy.
I only done it once. Once in 3 years that went wrong.
How many times have you flown it in that 3 years?
Quite a lot. A lot.
Can you fly the X-Class slow so he can chase you?
It's kind of hard to fly it slow.
I'll just pan round, try and follow it.
But yeah, you're quite welcome to come with us early Saturday morning with my new best friend.
Joker Vision.
We're going to Devon Saturday morning early.
Well, what's Joker Vision's Facebook? Is he on Facebook? We could send him an invite so that people could get used to him on the show.
Yeah.
Joker, add me on Facebook.
He will. Devon road trip. You're quite welcome, Frank. We're going early morning though, so you'd have to get to me quite early.
Why are you going to Devon?
Oh, he loves.
It's
getting
only
up
2
early.
hours away, isn't it?
What single digit number are you waking up to get to Devon?
4
Tony?
a.m. Jack. 4.
There we go. 4 exactly. It's not an FPV trip with Tony unless you've had under 2 hours sleep.
I like fucking having a life and doing stuff and living my life.
Yeah.
Thanks. Not, just
added me. Danny, confirm. Everyone, Danny Taylor, the new Jack. By the way, hang on. Let me just add him so that everyone can. So this is my replacement, everyone.
Sorry, Danny. This is not my fault.
Thank God he's got a sense of humour. Like, poor Danny. Hang on, let's message him. Oh, new message, Danny.
How about you just end the show?
Oh, we're waiting for Grant.
Yeah. Are we doing
look,
more?
It's slightly confusing because we all said goodbye.
Yeah.
We're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Patreon
I forgot something. Did anyone see David's spycopter?
What?
What, David Winterstall?
David Winterstall is releasing a bicopter.
Has he gone mental?
Well,
I thought he already was.
Yeah, when has he ever been seen? He's decided tricopters work now. They're old stuff. He's moving
what could be better than 1 servo, 2 servos?
It looks quite cool, I think.
I've been trying to get hold of David for many weeks now. We get this great thing where I'm trying to talk to him for a magazine thing, and then occasionally he'll look at his email and then apologise to me and try and set up a call, and then I don't get him, and then we send each other's notes. So I've been trying to do this for about a month and a half now. So now I'm back from holiday, I'm going to relentlessly continue to.
Why don't you try to go through Jack?
Jack, I'm hunting him down. I even tried giving him some Swedish swear words and stuff just to try and get him on side.
Fan.
Jack can help him. Jack will help.
I've wrote Curry Space Kitten is slagging you off with a link to the.
See, there you go.
A link to the show.
Put the space in there.
I'll put the space in there.
Email you tonight.
That's it. Danny, where are you, man?
Jack, Isle of Mull in the chat is challenging us to get Time Cop on here.
Oh God. He's in Japan.
Do you reckon we could?
And he really hates everyone.
Ohai gozaimasu.
Yeah. What do you mean, what's the link? That's the link. Is he retarded? Is that why you like him, Tony? Because you're smarter than him? Oh dear, I said the word retarded in 2018.
I know, it's funny that, Jack, because you're talking about yourself there.
Yeah. Oh.
It's so hot, isn't it?
I know. MC Creations, are you a boy or a girl or non-binary?
None of the above.
Yeah.
Or do you relate more to a fish finger?
Chatbot.
Yeah.
I'm guessing chatbot.
Isn't he from Mexico or something?
Don't know.
Mexico?
I know he's not from round here.
It came up with my login details. Thought you were hacking me, bitch tits.
Oh, he's got your fucking card, hasn't he? Bitch tits. See, I've taught him well. Oh, new friend. Call him bitch tits.
The trouble is with Chad Nowak is that we go live when...
And he undresses quite a lot.
When he wakes
that's
up.
Happened.
That's the problem.
Mm.
Yeah, but we go live. He wakes up.
He's in America at the moment, isn't he? He's seeing...
I messaged him. Hang on. Are you...
He's not in Oz at the moment. He's seeing Kathleen, so I know he's in America, but I don't know how far behind they are. 5-6 hours most.
Why would we bother
Are we seriously waiting for someone to come on?
Yes. Well, I'm waiting for Grant.
It's like 9:20.
All right. Well, have you got bigger things to do? Like, I don't know, hold
Obviously.
hands with Joker.
Yep.
Shall we ask him to do Andy's performance review while we got him on?
Yeah.
We should do a 360 review.
Oh
fair
man, I've just had a flashback to work from several years ago.
Oh no, you triggered Curry Kitten.
Where's the pills gone?
Sorry.
Oh god.
What about Oscar on the show? Does he speak? Right. I'm going to be honest, right? And I'm not being racist.
Oscar won't come on.
Oscar
He knows what's good for him.
won't do it. Hang on. My friend Andy's phoning me.
T-shirt, Andy.
Andy, RC Andy?
No. Andy, whose real name isn't Andy.
He just takes calls on the show and mutes himself.
Yeah. Midway through speaking.
It's all right. I don't mind. Oscar won't come on. I think he doesn't like the fact that he's Asian. That's a joke.
He just doesn't want to be on the internet. He says, once I'm on the internet, I'm on the internet.
Yeah, like
But he what?
Facial wise, and
He could turn his webcam off.
yeah,
He's
I
kind of on the internet because the only time I've seen him is photos with you guys. Not from his own channel, and I'm sure he'll get those deleted if he had his way.
That's my only guess, is that he thinks his English is too bad, and I haven't got a clue, and he doesn't want people knowing what he looks like. I think that's it. Basically, he doesn't want that identity and to be annoyed and everything.
He doesn't. He told me Saturday. He said, I don't want to be on the internet. Once you're on the internet, you're on the internet. So
Yeah, but he's lovely.
he's lovely. He gave
Sometimes have lunch with him.
He gave me and my new best friend Jokovision some stickers and straps,
Oh,
which was nice.
Oh, Dom has a big box of props. If anyone wants props,
Yeah, they're twin bladed, aren't they?
some twins and some tries, I think.
Can we just put them on the show as a giveaway or something?
If you want to go and get them and
pay the shipping.
If you do it American style, you could say, do a super chat, we'll give you some props.
There you go. Why don't we do that?
because we can't do super chat because we don't have enough of a
audience.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't worry, I already left half my dinner at the restaurant.
Who's that? The guy who's coming on, Grant?
Yeah.
So what you like? You should get him another day. He's missing out his food and... Oh, I don't know.
What's he coming on for then?
He's going to tell us that he's rectified the HDOs and the light leakage, probably.
Ah, this is why Andy isn't here. Can't face him.
Can't do it.
How I click the link and it goes to Google Play, then open Google Hangout, then nothing.
Is he doing it on his phone then?
What?
Sounds like it. It's going to Google Play.
Email. Oh,
tell him to do it on his laptop or something.
This is like the end of the show, but it's not.
Yeah,
really
I know.
ended.
This is what happens when the show's over.
Yeah, and we all talk bollocks again for another 10 minutes.
It's fine.
I'll give you this bit then. So, Frank, we talked about Chad Nowak the other week, and I was sort of supporting the fact he was trying to come out and say I wasn't doing anything wrong. Did you see the latest from him about there was? I think there was some big sort of official thing, some official flyer, and they reported them to CASA and saying this was closer than I did, closer to people, and he got in the same sort of trouble he got in. Didn't seem to apply for this particular agency because they didn't have to, which upset him.
What?
And yeah, I'm not paraphrasing it very well, but basically, It's some model organisation did this flying where they went really close to people, closer than like Chad went, and Chad got his knuckles wrapped. So he's like, "Okay, apply your same rules to this," and the caster basically said they don't have a case to answer. So Chad got upset about it and put his videos back to live again.
That's fair.
The ones that he got asked to take down.
The episode sponsored by Doom Bar, by the way.
And,
Placements.
and Stella Artois. And Trump bog roll.
And hula hoops.
Oh, what flavour hula hoops?
Barbecue beef. There's only one flavour of hula hoops.
Yeah, really salted.
Oh, hula hoops are gross, man.
Why?
Ugh, just disgusting.
Surely they're full of vegan rubbish. What's wrong with them?
Vegan rubbish.
Vegan rubbish.
They're just horrible hula hoops. Yeah, I know. You need a wee. I've got to let my dog out for a wee, man.
Oh, down.
In a minute, Gene.
Load the app, then log into that, then click the link or use a
Jack, you really
PC.
you really need to have this guy on next week for a whole show rather than like end the show but don't end it, keep it going, and then it's just people waiting around for him to come on.
Yeah, I know. Look, he's the one who said to me,
Yeah.
I'll probably be free in 15 minutes. I said, okay. I said, are you coming on? I'm trying to, but I'm stuck in the fucking lobby of this hotel trying to get into my room. Okay, we are waiting. Don't worry, I already left half my dinner at the restaurant. I said,
see, now you've made him leave half his dinner.
I didn't ask him to. He said he'd come on.
You're a vicious, heartless bastard, Jack. Admit
You
it.
just set this up for next week. LDO next week.
Oh my
Talks
god.
about what we done with the HDOs and how we're going to rectify it.
The trouble is, right? I ask you to get someone on, and then we're not allowed to have that person on.
How many people are actually watching now?
I don't know.
Exactly.
Uh,
At least we got people from all around the world, which I like. Green Patches is still in the chat. That's Canada, Kanakistan. We got people from Wales. That's miles away. Oh, there's a Millie in the chat. What's up, Millie?
Are you seeing her as well?
Of course,
Or is that
not.
a dude?
Does it look like a dude?
I don't know. Where's Lisa or Liza or whatever her name is?
Watching probably.
Hello, Liza.
Sorry, is that how she spells her name?
is that short for
Oh,
lizard?
don't all start fucking looking her
Is
up.
this what? This is why you think the world's round. You've been got at by the lizards.
The
Yeah,
lizard-
you're dating a lizard person.
the lizard people.
Have you checked her eyes? Close that way.
I can't hear you right now. I've unplugged shit.
Oh, she says you're really amazing. And Danny likes it as well. Oh, you've changed, man.
What? I've always been amazing, you fucker.
You've changed.
We've our peak concurrent watches was 58 tonight.
That's pretty good live streaming, considering Radio 2 only get 3 or 4.
What?
Richard Warwick says, I live dangerously close to Tony. I know, you'd think Megan's Law would sort that out, wouldn't you?
Richard, I'm going to bring my drone to Edenbridge tomorrow and fly it in the recreation ground of Edenbridge. If you're about, because I think you're from kind of round there.
All humans are part reptile, apparently.
See?
Well, if
Whoa.
you trace it back to the common ancestor at the top of the...
Isn't that banana? Oh, I'm so sorry, Grant.
Is this where we get into the whole no such thing as a fish thing?
Yeah.
Oh, God, I'm not even going there today.
There's no such thing as a fish.
Yeah.
Hang on. I was sure I was just swimming with them last week. Please explain.
Oh no,
because-
no.
The common ancestor of all the creatures that we consider to be fish is further back than every other type of animal.
All Grant's joined at a really strange time.
Grant, I'm so sorry. If you ever visit the UK, we will feed you. You
And a
have
beer.
my word.
You want me half a beer too?
Yeah, and dim sum. Do you want some dim sum?
Jack's dim and some.
He's been sitting on that one a while, hasn't he?
Oh, ching.
You know, Matthew Evans is coming down tomorrow. You can just give whatever to him, and he'll bring it down to me.
Oh no.
Say
Matthew Evans
say hello to Matthew before us all.
Add
Yeah.
one 3D.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's okay. What's going on, fellas?
Not too much, man. We're missing anti-RC, and seeing as he works for you, we wondered, like, if you knew where he was, because, like, obviously, as his employer, he has to answer to you. He can't go AWOL.
We've got him hard at work in our factory right now. He's not allowed to come out.
Well, I really like the video that you made him do of the disassembly of the FatShark goggles.
Yeah, there was a bunch of stuff, right? I didn't watch all of it. I only watched part of it, but it's definitely very helpful in the disassembly and reassembly process. So appreciate that. I haven't actually talked to him in about a week or two.
Is he gonna be your Painless 360 replacement once Painless 360 hits the 10K mark and is too big for FatShark?
I actually talk to Lee probably more often than I do to Andy. Lots of people, lots of weirdos show up in my feeds every day. I would say, for example, you showed up a half hour ago, and yeah, I mean, you know, I as well as I can, or to the best of my ability, I try to engage with everybody, right? So
Yeah.
I think Lee's been a friend of FatShark for a long time, and he's always asked a lot of questions, and you know, we've given him some information as the years have gone on. But Andy, I don't know how that relationship is or where it formed or anything, because I've not been around as long as some of the other guys. But sure, yeah, friends with him, friends with you guys too.
Thank you. I really appreciate you popping on to chat to us, because we got ripped so hard for being nice to you and like not like grilling you. So like the thing is, we like you even more than FatSharks.
Well, hey, here's another thing too, guys.
I was worried about your mental health.
I think, yeah, that was a rough week.
You were like a kicked dog, man. I was worried about you, man.
Rough, like couple weeks when we launched that HDO, because a lot of people are like, okay, we haven't seen this thing yet. The field of view is smaller. You're screwing with us. Like, we don't like this at all. And I think now that things have settled in for a couple months, people are like, okay, you know, I think image quality's there, and while some features definitely could have been included, like, I think that the anger's died down a little bit.
I've got one request though, if you can you make a version of the FatSharks called the Delinquents, where the IPDs go really close together, because both Frank here has a set of goggles that scream like dead children are in them.
Well, I'm working on that.
He can't get his IPDs close enough together. Brad has bought the HD2s. Is that right? Is that the right? Tony, where have you gone?
I'm going.
What goggles did
HD3s and the IPDs don't go too close. We can only use the Dom V2s, me and Bradders, because our eyes are quite close to.
Yeah. So
we need small head goggles.
Is that an English thing, or is it just
don't know, but definitely the HD. Well, I haven't actually ever found a pair of FatShark goggles that go close enough together for my eyes. My eyes are too close together.
Oh.
I have to go all the way in on mine, but I didn't know if that's because I'm using diopters as well. Was it the difference? But
I think all English people have got small eyeball pulse.
Our eyes are too close together.
Eyes too close together. It's a genetic trait.
Yeah.
But they say that people's eyes are supposed to be close together because they're predators, right? Like more predators have their eyes in front and prey have their eyes to the side.
I've got a
We're more dangerous out here.
about Tony, the predator.
Oh, but to answer your question,
I haven't got a sister. Don't worry, Tony.
so the limit on the IPD is where it is right now internally, because as soon as you go in too far in your IPD, the modules, they're like, I don't know, 15, 18 millimeters wide. As soon as you get them too close to each other, it starts to bump into the relief for your nose. And so there's another group of people with really big noses that really wants the IPD to be greater than 55 millimeters, because they have this just giant shaft right here that's in the way, and that doesn't allow the IP or the modules to come in and knock against one another. Now, I think the way you can get around that is by streamlining the module a little bit. So what you do is you make like a smaller form factor module that doesn't necessarily take as much space, and that allows it to slide inside on the rail maybe another millimeter or two. But it wasn't possible to do with the current Dominator shell because we didn't change anything on the shell this time.
Hey, Bot Grinder's here. Maybe we could have him instead of Tony.
But yeah, I don't know. Have we? Did Andy get to the bottom of his weird HDOs? The issues he had. Because he went he went and compared his to Lee's because they live reasonably close to each other, and Andy's were significantly different from Lee's, even though they were both HDOs, because Andy's were kind of a bit more see-through.
Yeah, what happened there?
Do you know that about that story?
Oh, I do actually. Well, me? You're asking me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. This popped up about 3 weeks ago, and basically, are you guys familiar with the process of injection molding?
Yes.
Are.
Painfully so.
Well, some of us might not be in the chat.
Okay, so for the sake of argument, the shells are all injection molded polyethylene, maybe polyurethane. I don't know, but the process of injection molding is you have these two metal clamps that come together, and then you inject the plastic into it, molten plastic into it, and then you cool the plastic, and then you separate the mold apart, and then out pops the shell, and then you clean it up a little bit. You take away what's called the slag or like any of the roughness, clamp it back together, and that's your mold. And when you're mixing up that hot bath of polymer beforehand and injecting it in, we found that there is basically a QC issue with it, where it wasn't thick enough, or it wasn't. I'm trying not to make any bad metaphors here, but it just wasn't creamy enough, thick enough. It wasn't.
Wasn't opaque enough.
It wasn't really. It wasn't opaque enough, right? And when you injection mold it in, you looked at it and you're like, oh, it's white, right? It's fine. You send it away. But it turns out if you put it in front of a light or a hot, white, bright source, that density or the opacity was just too low, right? And so we didn't know that, right? We've had this QC process that like is all around optics and all around, making sure that everything is right in terms of the OLED, but nobody has ever put the thing in front of a flashlight on the factory line to say, hey, is this thing thick enough? And so somebody, I guess Andy noticed it first, or maybe Lee did, or a couple people in RC groups mentioned it. And we're like, oh shit, this isn't right. And so it looked like it was just like the most recent batch of HDOs that went out. I don't know how many it is because I only like maybe a few dozen people have complained. And so we're like, wait, definitely have to fix it. So we pulled back some inventory from some of the bigger retailers, whoever had inventory. The thing is that most people get their inventory and they sell it immediately because stuff's back ordered. But whoever had outstanding inventory, we took it back and then just overhauled it really quick, and then restarted production maybe last week. So I think it only affected maybe the last 10 to 20% of HDOs went out there. But we got a fix, and then we figured it out, and then I issued just a directive on RC groups to look, if you have a problem, if you're bothered by it, we'll find a way to figure it out, fix it for you.
Good to know. FatShark customer service as standard.
Well, Andy's particular issue, yeah, I mean, he's in the UK, and luckily we have a repair center in the UK too. So I think he already got a new shell. There are two options, right? It's either replace your own shell or we can do it for you. Either's free. But, you know, for people who know how to take 3 screws out, we offered to send them their own shells. And, you know, I think we've probably sent out a couple dozen, but it hasn't really been a widespread issue.
It's good to hear it all got identified and sorted out.
So as part of your QC process now, does somebody hold a flashlight just in case you,
oh my God, yeah.
shells changes?
I think it's probably a little bit more more refined than that, rather than just a dude standing there with a flashlight at the end of the manufacturing line. But yeah, it was something that we'd never seen before. And so when we finally saw the comparisons, I think maybe Andy posted someone's like, holy shit, this is wrong. So we had to go fix it. And, you know, like some other goggles, like they're gray or black, for example, like you don't have those issues because it's black, right? But with white goggles, you know, you just have to, it has to be one of the considerations.
Where's Jack gone? He disappeared. Yeah, with Bot Grinder in the chat says the rapid fire plus the HDO is the best video ever, and definitely that seems to be the overall feeling as far as I can tell.
Is that Bot Grinder in the chat? I can't see the chat. Damn it.
Oh, do you want the chat link? Hang on.
Hey Doug, how's it going?
The general consensus of people that have actually got hold of the HDOs.
There you go, Grant.
Through them is that they are
thanks.
Really amazing.
Yeah, so I got an email. I don't know how much of your time. I know you guys have gone over, and I know you stayed late for me, which I appreciate.
We always love. I'm really sorry about your food. No, you didn't mean to drag you away.
The vicious bastard dragged you away from your food, and we apologize.
Yeah.
No, but it's a quick story. Somebody from DRL emailed me today. Gil Coronado. His name's 32 Bits of Gil. Are you familiar with this guy?
Yep.
He's a great guy. He's a DRL pilot, or I don't know if he is in this season or not. I'm actually in Germany because I'm going to the DRL race tomorrow. But Gil sent me an email today, and he's like, why does it seem like there's a higher frame rate on the OLED goggles or the HDO goggles than there is on regular LCD goggles? Like, I feel like you're going at 120 frames per second instead of 60, or maybe 80 instead of 60. And I did some research around this a couple of weeks ago, and I was talking to Greg, who's our founder. And I'm like, Greg, there's got to be some way to quantify this. Like, can you tell me what the difference is between the frame rates, or can you tell me how these panels are reacting differently? And he's like, the frame rates are exactly the same. But the difference is that OLED pixels change faster in color. So if you go from black to green or black to white, the time it takes for them to go from black to white is a lot faster. And it appears that it makes it look like the frame rate's faster because the light's just changing so much faster. And so I'm like, Greg, is there a way to quantify this? Can we say, like, hey, this makes you like 13 femtoseconds faster or something when you're flying? And he's like, there's no way to quantify it. It's just the difference between an OLED and an LCD panel. And it sucks because, like, I could totally use that as a marketing tool to say, like, hey, this is faster, but like nobody can figure out what that pixel speed switch flip is. And so I'm left answering people. Like Thomas Bitmata actually emailed me about this last week too. He's like, why does it feel like it's faster? And I'm like, I don't know. So, but yeah, I mean, so anybody who's actually tried it and flown and seen like the colors change have been really happy with it. And so that's good. It's just a matter of making sure that people are not people have their applications properly, you know. And I don't want to oversell this thing.
Also, I want to pick your brain while you're here because I forgot to last time. So at my work, part of what we do, we make custom sports masks for people that look basically like a FatShark faceplate. And we do it for like sports people with injuries so they can carry on practicing, and the insurance people aren't going to just let them go. And so I've got a side project that's sitting in the corner somewhere that I haven't touched yet, of kind of making a custom FatShark faceplate so that it could be absolutely fitted to your face. I also have a scan of my face somewhere, so I'm going to have a go at that at some point. But if you are interested in looking into that closer at some point, then let me know. We could offer that as a service. That's what we do for lots of footballers and people like that, is we get them into our fancy medical centers and scan their faces and then make custom masks.
That's a good idea. In fact, all you basically need is the negative imprint of the goggles so that you can figure out where the clips are.
Exactly.
Anything around it. You could design an entire helmet that you could wear. You could slide on like this and just flip the goggles down. That would work just for your face.
What, like FatShark Power Ranger edition?
In fact, I've just realized we've got some fancy kit at work that we're borrowing, and we have it tomorrow. So I might have a go at seeing if we can do something like that tomorrow. That would make it a lot easier.
We found that probably 90% of people, the face fits okay for them on the goggles, but there's a small group of people, particularly Asian people, who have slightly different facial structures, where the FatShark goggles are slightly less comfortable. I know some people who swear by the fit of the Sky Zones. The Sky Zone 1s in particular were like great for some people. But then by the time the Sky Zone 2s came around, I think a lot of people moved from the Sky Zone 2s to the FatSharks. But some people, I mean, just like they have just weird shaped faces. Like I have a half Asian face, and so I have like a flat nose and like a weird IPD, and I'm like on the outer limits of a FatShark goggle. But other people like are just so far out that they can't use anything at all. And for them, I would suggest using box goggles.
That was a question someone had in the chat earlier, I remember, is how do you go around picking the sizes and shapes and everything that you're going to design for? Is it a case of picking a few people, or is it a case of going through all the anthropometric data that you can get hold of, or do you know how your designers do it?
I would like to say that we pulled data from the international database of people's head sizes and cross-reference that to our market and who buys things from what regionalities. But the truth is that we design most things around Greg, who actually is pretty close.
Your analog.
Yeah, I mean, he's pretty close to most people out there. He's just like a average-sized white guy. And turns out I'm on the phone with, 1, 2, 3, 4 average-sized white guys, and you're perfect fit for it. So I think that there are some changes you can make. I mean, a lot of the changes you can make are you can correct with IPD. So for example, like if the pit's not completely perfect, you can tweak the IPD just a little bit to fix it. You can change the density or the thickness of the foam. I've seen a lot of people in RC groups that would like to have it 1 or 2 millimeters out or 1 or 2 millimeters in, just because that's the way that their focal distance lines up. But there's no way. I mean, and this is true for everything, right? Like if you make a watch or if you make a pair of shoes, you're always going to find one person with a foot that's like this wide or this long, or a wrist that's this big that the watch doesn't fit. You just have to aim for the 90th percentile and hope that the last 10% will forgive you.
I'm just putting out in the chat any questions. I'd like to thank everyone who's stayed here and hung on for Grant. I really appreciate it.
And thank you, Grant. Sorry that Jack pulled you away from your dinner early.
I didn't mean to.
He's mean.
I know. I'm very mean.
Appreciation people who actually can eat food.
Yeah. No eating.
Yeah.
I know. I'm just angry that Curry Kitten's been away on holiday. All you can eat, catered for. Very angry. And you're in Germany now, so all the food's... What are you eating dumplings in Germany for? Shouldn't you have some sausages in you?
Apparently, it's some Bavarian specialty where it wasn't that great actually. It was just like a giant fucking beef meatball, but it's like Bavarian beef dumpling. So
Right, hang on.
it was okay. Hey, I saw somebody ask about OLED burning MC's creations. I should answer that real quick. OLEDs, I think they'll burn in, but only after like tens of thousands of hours, which is way over the use cycle of FatShark goggle. Cinemizers have been around for a long time, and they haven't had any issues with their OLEDs. Cinemizers aren't really built for FPV, but they do use OLEDs, and nobody ever had an issue with those burning in. By the time your HDOs burn in, we will have HDO version 4, so I wouldn't worry about it.
OLED has worked okay for VR stuff.
Yeah. Attitude series, that was done. There are a couple of Attitude V4s that are out there here and there, but we're not making them anymore.
Someone asked whether you're still carrying on the Attitude.
Right. Yeah, we stopped that with those with the Attitude V4 Anniversary Edition. Right now, our middle of the road daily driver goggle is the HD3 Core.
HD3.4?
Core.
Sorry, I was like, what?
Yeah, right. What I didn't tell you? It's a new goggle.
Yeah, 34, as I know. What's with the Terminator edition?
Hey, so that's an interesting one because a lot of people were asking about wide FOV when we launched the OLED. When we launched the OLED, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, 37 degrees, not enough." So mad. We're like, well, we need to learn more about how important wide field of view is to some people. And so we'd seen a lot of people asking for the HD2 or for relaunches of the HD2 or for reissuing them. And so we decided to reissue them just to a limited degree and see how popular they were, to see if, like, hey, if we're selling thousands of these things, like, wide field of view goggles are super popular and important, and we should focus all of our work on that. But if it fails, if the crowdfunding campaign fails, then we know that people are happy with 37 degrees and a really high image quality with the OLED. And what really ended up happening was just we kind of got halfway in between. We ended up selling like 480 of them, and that tells us that some people really, really like wide field of view goggles, like the squeaky wheels are getting their grease. But most everybody else is just fine with 37 degrees and the wide or in the high image quality with the
OLED. Curry Kitten here asks, are you going to attach a beeper in case you lose your goggles in long grass? Sorry, that's a bit of an inside joke. I don't know. Anyone else? Science of FatShark masks, cool. MC Creation said, like, could we have custom 3D printed face plates for different faces?
That's what I'm doing.
I said you were doing it.
So just on the burn-in thing and image retention, because I did happen to be looking at a new TV not long ago, and we were going through and looking at OLEDs versus LCD and stuff, and like even the guys talking about them were talking about image retention. And isn't it the fact that certain colors are worse? I think red comes up as being something. So is there anything towards some retention as opposed to burning for a short period of time that will then go, although red isn't perhaps a color that will occur very often in most people's flying, unless they're going around something very red?
That's a good question, actually. I don't know. I'm not a electromechanical engineer, so this is out of my specialty a little bit. But I haven't heard any reports of it with the HDO so far. How many of you guys have HDOs?
Not enough money. Nobody. Just Andy, and he didn't come in.
Oh, good Lord. Okay. Well, yeah. I haven't heard anybody giving me feedback on that. I've heard from a few people that the OLEDs are warmer, so the color saturation that you'll see more of like a richer, yellower, redder image, like a warmer image when you're flying.
Yeah, and I could certainly pick that up just in general. When you look at screens, big screens, OLED versus LED, you can see the difference instantly. It's like looking, it's kind of like if you were like a TV guy, you'd go from plasma to OLED, whereas everybody else would have gone to the LCD route and maybe LED.
Right. So I've heard that a little bit from like 3 people, including Drew at Road Riot. But otherwise, I haven't heard any complaints around it. They're pretty simple devices, honestly. They're simple displays, so I can't imagine. I think a lot of issues that people have seen have been around the receiver. So, for example, with the new Rapid Fire, a lot of people have had issues with just getting everything calibrated with their cameras and sticking everything together. But in general, performance-wise, I haven't heard a lot of feedback.
Cool.
What I was going to say, is that even, like, forgive me my ignorance, right? And it's probably not going to work because it's power consumption, isn't it? Is it possible to make FatSharks in Plasma Edition? It's not, is it? Because what voltage does Plasma ramp up to? And also,
belts.
Oh, yeah.
They'd be pretty big.
Oh, man.
Like box goggles where you'd be like, dunk. Like that.
The old style of like having it on a tripod and you just put your face into the box.
Oh, mate. You've got to do that. Like Halloween, like next April, have Plasma Edition to the FatSharks. That is hilarious.
Jack, you're so out of date. Don't do April Fools anymore. It's out of fashion.
Really?
You can have. What about rear projection goggles? That would be quite cool.
Is it plasma though?
Well, no, but it'd be rear projection. That'd be awesome.
I would worry about the latency and something like that, when the time it takes for the projection to reach you and then reach back to your eyes. Although the glyphs were technically projection goggles too, so maybe they could work. I don't know. I think what we're going to try to do more at FatShark next is try to improve upon some of the user experience things. So a lot of people have been telling us about power buttons and battery.
Oh, no, you're not going to give in, are you?
Yeah. Well, look, we've had the same shell for a while now, so I think improving upon the user experience, it's going to be a little bit more important now that we've got a lot of the screen stuff.
Oh my God, power buttons. This is your fault. I blame you. Won't plasma cook your eyeballs? Sorry, I love this.
Laser holographic displays.
So, can we have a little bit of Grant story time before we let you go?
I think personally that you should have me back for an entire episode at some point. So that
Yeah, you're welcome at any time, man. Like, what can we seal a date with you? What dates are you free?
For sure.
Frank, get the calendar out.
I get you're running the stream.
Can you do the 2nd or the 9th or the 23rd?
The 9th is way better than the 2nd.
Okay, no worries, you're in. Right. FatShark Grant. Can you please make sure your employee is there? And RC.
Yes. I haven't talked to him. Do you guys know? Was he around earlier today, or what was?
No, he wasn't.
We tried to get hold of him, and he was unavailable.
Yeah,
Strangely hiding out today.
Yeah.
So like that's why I feel doubly awful that like you left your food, like, because part of it was like I wanted a bit of a catch up with you, but the other part was a joke being like, "Where's Andy RC? Can you tell him he's fired, or like can you suspend him or something so we can have him back?" Let him know that LDO is his only avenue if he slips up.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
some sort of punishment. Like if you accidentally leak the FatSharks again, you have to be like on the show every week. As punishment.
No, I'm always happy to come and hang out with you guys, especially when there's like news and stuff, other stuff happening.
Yeah.
It's good to catch up on the T2 as well. Like that was an interesting experiment. So that'll be done end of August, early September. So you'll start seeing the field around that time.
Because I think it really, like, we got a lot of crap for being like really nice to you and not like screaming like God damn you, why isn't there a power button? I don't want a power button myself, and I don't think any of the other guys do. But like,
also give everyone like 2 months or however long it's been, and everyone's raving about the HDOs again. So
yeah, so clearly we're all bipolar or something, or like, you know, like some sort of personality mood disorder or something. But can you give us a little bit of story time? Like, has being on LDO improved your
how would you rate your experience at LDO?
Oh, God, yeah, we know that. Goddamn awful. You know, like, yeah, your public relations. What have you done about that? And how have you personally recovered from your little slip up? Was everything all right, or are you like not trusted on the website anymore?
No. I will tell you. Oh, look, I'll tell you anything you guys want to know. I mean, I think the biggest part about my job is adding more transparency to what FatShark does and how we interact with our customers, right? Because Greg is not the most, he doesn't spend a lot of time online because he's making stuff. And Alan, our CEO, is running the business. And so a lot of times there's only like one dude to talk about stuff that's going on at FatShark. And like, I used to have this last company I worked at, and the thing I like to say there a lot is that people fill silence with fear. You know, I don't know what's going on, so something bad has to be happening. I haven't heard from somebody, something terrible is happening. And I sometimes think that if we don't talk about what we're doing at FatShark, people assume the worst. You know, well, why isn't FatShark working on another set of goggles? Well, maybe they're too busy gouging people, or riding their sailboats around the world, or flying in first class.
We all know you bruise goats' knees. Yeah. You buy some goats and you hit them with sticks.
But like
a Joe joke.
I've also got insight into like stuff that's going on at the factory too, and like the whole supply chain, all the way from the plastics that we injection mold all the way through to the optics to our customers and distributors. So I'm able to give a lot of insight to what's going on. In terms of the HDO launch, I think that went as good as it could have. I think it was a solid 7 out of 10.
I think you're a liar, because you said to me, right, on the Christmas stream, you were dropping the HD thing. And I said, is it because you realized it wasn't actually HD? And you said, we're moving on from that. And then you named it HD OLED.
No.
I can't trust you. There you go. I've got to be mean to you. Apparently that's what people want.
Yeah.
Like, you're the new Tony.
Yeah. No, they named the HDO a long time ago, actually. I don't have anything to do with it. And I think it's because they named it the HD because it's the same shell as the Dominators and the same form factor, roughly. Dominator HD3, Dominator HDO, O for OLED. So it's pretty straightforward. They, we do this thing when we launch products, usually, everybody in like consumer electronics, where you give everybody the news like a week in advance and you keep them under embargo. And basically it's just like, hey, I mean, if you have any questions, if you want to work on this, let me know. This is out, but it's under embargo. And if you leak this news early, I'll break your legs. And this happens everywhere. It's professional courtesy, Apple, Google, and like FatShark never really has adhered to that until I showed up, and I tried to like kind of get our messaging a little bit more organized. And I figured that at some point HDO news would leak prior to the actual embargo date. What I did not expect is for the leak to come from me and my fuck up. So that was my fault.
Ahead of them. You got ahead of the curve on that.
Yeah.
If there's going to be a leak, it's going to be an official leak.
Right. Yeah, and it's my fault. It came from me. And it was like on a Sunday night, and I was about to sit down and watch a movie with my wife, and I'm like, something's gone terribly wrong, Liz. I have to go. Like, but other than that,
how about this? Can we have the exclusive, like the next product on LDO? Can you like reveal it here first?
For the how many people are in our chat right now?
30. That would do. But you'll really help our numbers.
But I'll have the Wall Street Journal and the BBC link directly to you guys.
We can't, like the BBC, we can't get on. Definitely, we're it's yeah. Andrew doesn't feel like becoming a sir or a knight or something. Whatever are they doing? Joining that weird club?
Yeah,
and then
that's illegal. That's something else.
Yeah.
No, I mean it makes sense to work with. I'd say. I don't want to use the term influential because that's a bullshit internet term right now. But like, look, you guys have a show where you communicate with other people in the FPV industry. Same thing with Rotor Riot. Same thing with Wall Street Journal. Like, it makes sense to work with people who have reach when you're launching a product. So I'm always going to be willing to come on and chat about hardware with you. Like, I don't know if you're going to be like, I try not to like play favorites or firsts or seconds or anything, but
you can't favorite us. We're gobshites. You know?
Man, I mean, wow, that's good.
Yeah, it'll be more like sympathy. Do you know what I mean? It's like when Josh Bardwell gives us a shout out. It's like they're still not dead yet.
I will say that you guys brought me on the podcast and talked about the HDO before Rotor Riot did those. So that's it's a pretty good accomplishment.
Yeah, true. Well, that was the help from our boy, like Nurk. So
right,
he helped.
Yeah,
he helped loads. So, but
what can I do for you guys at DRL tomorrow? So I'm going to see everybody at DRL tomorrow and Saturday. Should I give them shit for you guys?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
If you could draw little LDO symbols on their stuff, that's always a good way to make. I wish we could have sent you some stickers or something. Damn it. Yeah.
Yeah, you're running out of time. Oh, give them to Andy. Give them to Matthew Evans. He's coming down tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we won't be able to get him to him in enough time. Hang on, Chad's here. Hang on. Hang on. Grant from FatShark is here. By the way, sorry. Hang on. There you go. Chad Nowak's here. Yeah, just like employ Andy RC to make videos for you and stuff. You know, like that will give us notoriety and stuff. You know, why doesn't he work for you? He literally, you know, he's a good boy.
Probably can't afford him. What is his real full-time lifetime job?
Being Northern. I'm scared of moths. Sorry. If you're wondering why. That's if you ever
pathetic.
If you ever want to kill me, just fill my car full of moths on the motorway. Wow. Sorry, it's highly professional. Don't send me a pair of FatShark cases for my goggles with moths on them.
I'm just going to get like a line of moth larvae and like, hang them outside your window.
I'm going to turn the light off. Goddamn moths. I can't help it. It's stupid. I'm not too bad with butterflies, but they do freak me out a little bit. But moths, super kryptonite.
Anyone made like, what would the moth equivalent of an ornithopter be?
Mothithopter?
Mothithopter. Has anyone made a mothithopter? Let's make a mothithopter.
No, it's like the worst of mine.
Really big one. It just flies directly at Jack all the time.
I hate being at Digby Dan's house because he lives out in the country late at night and he turns on the light and he gets like big moths with big like red bodies on them and stuff. And I am like literally crying in the toilet.
They're coming right for you.
My word. So, Grant, how did you recover from the little slip up? Did they grill you? Have you been like, what did you do for collateral damage, like damage control?
Oh, we were fine. They expected leaks far earlier than I did, and they, the guys at FatShark trust me to run the front of the house. So
yeah,
I was probably harder on myself than they would have ever been, and so yeah. Went fine. Besides, I mean, at that point, I think all of our retailers had or were about to have inventory. Like, it's tough when you announce something or you launch something, and then it takes like a month or two to get there, and like there's this weird, awkward silence for like 2 months. But like when we launched the HDO, it had pretty much already shipped and was at retailers by that point, so there wasn't a lot of delay. So that's good.
Oh man, I have got to go soon and set up for the Thursday night show, guys. I realise I've got 40 minutes. Is it all right to leave you guys on the side chatting? Chad, I have missed you, but I am also really upset with you that you didn't have me on the mental health podcast. Like,
wow, that changed subjects really quickly. Apologies if you were talking about something deep and meaningful while I jumped on.
No, it's fine. Like,
well, I've got to go now anyway, so I am sorry to leave you when you've got 2 interesting people to talk to, but I've got to go. So I will see you all guys around some other time.
Is it bedtime for you, Frank?
Yeah, not exactly, but it will be that soon enough.
Oh, bye, Frank. And just left Frank.
All right.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Yeah. Well,
Chad,
do I have this effect on people? I jump on and they all leave.
No.
I just got up.
I can imagine. I'm really sorry, man.
That's all right. I've had basically like 2 days of no sleep. One night because I was getting ready, and one night because I was on a plane and for whatever reason I couldn't sleep. So I've slept for about a full day now.
Oh, jet lag.
Yeah, love jet lag.
Oh, guys, I wish we could. NJ starting a stream in 20 minutes, so I could move all you guys over to his. Because
okay. I have to go too. Actually, it's getting late in Germany, and I got a DRL race tomorrow.
No worries. Thank you so much for coming on, Grant. Chad, is there anything you want to say to Grant? Do you want a power button on your new FatSharks or something?
Okay, Grant. We've had a long conversation about these sort of things while we've been in China, but I just want to reiterate the deep and meaningful things that I've always said to you. The quality of your product is terrible. It's far too expensive. There's not enough accessories. It doesn't fit my face. The field of view is wrong. It's both too small, too big. The IPD is just nowhere near good enough. The straps are not available in enough colors. I hate the batteries. What else is there? The customer service is terrible. But apart from that, I really like the goggles.
And I've never liked you either.
Yeah. Look, at the end of the day, if it was a really bad product, no one would be buying it. There's tiny little things that I think could be improved on there, but I think it's the product speaks for itself, if I'm perfectly honest. But you and I, we've both spoken about this at length, yeah, it's a good product. You guys have still got ways to go, but I mean that's what a company always does. They're always improving, and there's a reason why FatShark is leading the pack, so to speak, because making goggles is not easy. Although people seem to think that it is, it's not, and there's a reason why other companies haven't come up and made a complete beeline attack to what FatShark provides to the community, and part of that is because it's hard. Part of that is because FatShark does a pretty good job. It's not perfect, but it's a pretty damn good job.
I appreciate that, Chad. You come and see us in China sometime soon, will you, please?
Definitely, we'll do. I miss China. I love going to China every single time.
It is just so hot. It is definitely hot right now.
Yeah. I'll come in winter then.
Yeah, sounds good. I'll meet you out there. Jack, thanks for having me on. I'll see you.
Pleasure. Thank you. I will see you on the 9th. Take care, buddy.
Be well, Chad. Take care of yourself.
See you later, Grant.
Thank you.
Chad, can we have you on? Can we get a date for you? Because I've been really enjoying your stuff about sort of fighting back against CASA, if you like. Especially, you went about something today about like some organisation did the same thing about flying really close, and when complained to CASA, it's like they didn't have a case to answer.
Yeah,
and we're getting this double standard over here at the moment where multi-rotors are getting singled out about having different rules than any other.
Yeah.
remote
Oh,
control
look,
stuff.
I'm more than happy. If you want to do a special podcast, more than happy to talk about it. More than happy to talk about it now. I think
What,
a lot
what are
of
you
people.
doing on the 2nd
I'm trying to think.
next week?
I don't think I'm doing anything. So, like, as you can imagine, my dates have all gone all weird because are we talking about my 2nd or your 2nd? And it's a different time zone to what I'm used to because I've gone backwards like a day or whatever. I think I'm fine. But
Where are you right about now?
Currently in Los Angeles, and I'll be here for another like week and a half.
Oh, that's okay because the time zone's backwards, isn't it? So that works.
Yeah, I've gone back in time.
British summertime, and what were you?
I have no idea. I just woke up. Remember, I'm in LA.
That's about 8 hours behind, isn't it? Something like that.
Yeah,
Is that Pacific Standard Time?
That's the ocean out there, surely.
Yeah.
Something like that. That's close enough.
No.
I have no idea what LA is in regards to universal time.
It seems to be daytime. Looking at your curtains,
it is daytime.
That's good enough.
It's daytime. I'm not sure what day it is because I've literally just woke up. Did I sleep did I skip a day and I've slept like a day longer than I don't know.
Yeah.
All I know is the dogs happy to see me. I'm not finding poop around, so it hasn't been longer than 24 hours because this dog can normally keep the poop in for 24 hours.
So it will be 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. at Los Angeles.
On the 2nd. That sounds like that'll work.
Yeah, no worries. Right.
What day will that be?
I don't know. It hurts my brain.
It's a Thursday.
Okay, yeah. I'm pretty sure that'll work.
No, I think I think it crosses over.
No. LA is just behind us.
Well, if it's in the middle of the day on a weekday, which like even if you do it, go a day forward or backwards,
it will be Thursday. Yeah,
it'll work because most likely I'll be in the house here, not doing too much, so I should be okay. Why do you think I get other people to work this out? I got the headache so many other times. I'm just like, oh, you want me to come on your show? No worries. You tell me what time I need to be there and what date. For my time, and I'll tell you whether or not I can make it.
Oh my god! I'm new to FPV and LDO fan. I bought the HDOs after watching Grant's appearance. Don't talk to me about influence. That is quite funny. That is brilliant. That is one of the funniest things in chat for a while. Oh, Chad, like, I can't believe you did that episode. I'm heartbroken, my friend.
Well, I was fully intending on doing some more of them, which I just haven't got around to yet. And I want to do some more, because like literally I could do 10 episodes and not get the number of people on there that I've spoken to that have something to say or have some input in there. So we have quite a large group of people within our community that have either gone through something serious or are going through something serious in terms of negativity or depression or stress in their life. So I could do quite a number of episodes like that of just simply getting guys together and talking about their stories. And that's all you need to do, because particularly as guys, but I mean, this is not one gender, it helps both sides, but particularly guys, generally speaking, we don't talk about that because we're tough. We're manly, and you don't talk about that because that makes you weak. And
in fact, I bully Tony more the worse I feel.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's everyone. Yeah, when you're not right, you act out and you act in a certain way, and your friends around you who are your actual friends who know you well know that when you're in a bad mood, when you're stressed, when you're depressed, you act in a certain way. Me, when I'm down, I go quiet, I shut off, and my friends know that when they don't hear from me for a week or something like that, okay, let's drive around to his house and just say, hey, we're going for a drive, and they don't take no for an answer, and they know that, so yeah, they act like that. But yeah, I need to get some more episodes out there purely because it's something that's worth talking about. I mean, if you're not suffering from it, or if you're one of those tough bastards that never has an issue and you think that's all weak, then don't watch those shows. But I've got a really good response from people like that. And my whole point of view was, I don't consider myself the most famous person in the world, but I'm fairly well known, and I know people look up to me, and I know a lot of the pilots I know people look up to, and they see this sort of like, when you idolize someone, you see this perfect life. You see all the wonderful stuff in their life and nothing's going right. When in fact, most of those people that you idolize are going through something, they just don't show it. So if you can see those people that you look up to, that you idolize or whatever, and see them talking about something, you can go, wow, they go through the same shit that I do.
I know.
That's really interesting. And it brings the reality of depression and so forth down to a level that they can accept, and they go, wow, okay, well, if they're man enough to talk about it, then maybe I can be man enough to talk about it, and maybe I can start dealing with it and so forth. And
because like you live in Australia with fantastic weather, you're sponsored by Impulse RC and whoever else, you're in Rotor Riot, how dare you be depressed? Do you know what I mean? And I look at Tony and I'm like, Tony's all right, so I'm going to make his life hell by being his friend. But I must admit that two things have really screwed me up. You obviously did your depression cast. There was someone else called Mousy, who's a Twitch streamer, who also did a funny enough, like not long after you did your speech, your podcast, and we lost a guy called Total Biscuit to he was a video game reviewer, and he died of bowel cancer recently, and he was 1 year older than me.
Yeah.
And they thought he had Crohn's, and like that really got to me. The other thing is this video came out the other day. It's a guy called Matt Pat who does the game theorist. He talks about different films and game theories, and his editor, he didn't hear from his editor for a few days, and they went round to his house and found him gone. So it's a lot's ramping up at the moment.
Yeah, it's at the end of the day, it's something that needs to be that is important to be talked about, regardless. And I've got a puppy dog behind me looking out the window, wondering what's going on outside. Yeah, it's something that's important to be talked about, because when you talk about it, the secretiveness of it stops, because people go, oh, well, I've got something to say, and so forth. And so even however minor the subject is, or what people are talking about with regards to depression, it's important to talk about, because it gets other people talking about it. When it gets other people talking about it, it gets it off people's chest. It gets people being able to relate to it. And when you can start relating to it and the communication starts, that's how it's a natural thing that it starts, it starts helping people. Because you don't even need to try it. It's like it's like a good version of a disease. It goes around and it starts self-helping, because people start talking about it. And if I can find an excuse to talk about it, then great. That's the way they want to be.
Hang on.
Oh, well, the star of the show is going. There's two of us left. What do we talk about? Quick. Your propeller sucks. I
like your dog.
Yeah, there we go. Oh, there you go. So what was the subject matter on today's live feed? I literally just woke up.
Well, there was a little bit about we've just got this new exemption in FPV where you can go to 1,000 feet. However, it specifically excluded multi-rotors in this, which are just limited to 400 feet. Now, no one's particularly worried about the fact that, most people fly a couple of inches off the ground and whiz around trees and stuff. It's just the fact that it's like, here's us, we're in the naughty corner, and everybody else is allowed to fly. And as soon as you start differentiating between them, it's like, well, multi-rotors are bad, everything else is fine. And you get this sweeping load of more rules coming in, like multi-rotors bad, even worse, go away from us, you're different, and you're the bad guys. So we were all quite upset about that.
Yeah. Well, until about 6 months ago, CASA, the regulator here in Australia, didn't even recognize FPV at all. They finally recognized it, and they've basically said it's like any kind of regulation. The paperwork is sort of like sparse and gray area, and everyone interprets it differently, and it's just a complete clusterfuck as usual. But essentially, what they're saying when you talk to them is, if you want to be able to fly, then you need to have like insurance, and the only way that you can really get insurance is to become a member of the MAAA, which is the Australian Model Association, the Modelling Association of Australia, or whatever it is. The reason why you do that is because they give you insurance, and if you look at the technicalities of the insurance, if you go out and fly in a regular park, you're not covered by their insurance. So, like, apart from some unusual areas, the only way that you can really technically fly when you're a member of the MAAA is to fly at their fields, of which 80% we're not welcome to because the modelers hate us. And even if they didn't hate us, it's the most boring place that you could ever fly. So essentially what CASA is trying to do is they're basically getting into bed with the MAAA, and they're trying to basically corral us all into these boring little fields, because that way we'll be out of sight, out of mind. So therefore, kind of like FPV is illegal everywhere else. And now they're not actively going out and searching out people to find people who are not flying within those guidelines. But it's like everything else. What they do is they get all these tiny little points, and then when they decide that they don't like you, they cherry pick all these points off and go, these are the reasons why we're getting you in trouble. And that's my biggest problem with it. It's not the fact that that's there and like, oh, well, they're not actually going out. A lot of people say, well, they're not chasing after you, so it's fine. But here's like, this is the problem. When they decide that they don't like you, then it's kind of like a policeman pulling you over because they just don't like you. And then all of a sudden they give you a random breath test, and then they search your car, and then they check your tail lights, and they keep on going until they find something they don't like so they can get you in trouble. And this is what CASA is doing. They're arming themselves with all these possibilities so that if they keep on looking, they can catch you out. And I'm sitting there going, my biggest problem with all this, and this is worldwide, is that CASA is only in existence for one reason, and this goes for the CAA, the FAA, EASA. What's the English regulator's name?
Oh, the CAA as well.
CAA. Okay, cool. Yeah. That's now the New Zealand one as well. So yeah, all of these are around for one reason. They exist solely for one reason: to stop people from dying. Now, if you look at all of the reason for their existence, that's what they say. We are here for safety. They want to make sure that no one dies, no one gets injured, no one gets hurt. That's the only reason that they're there. That's why they were created by the governments. Now, we all know that stopping people from dying and stopping people from hurting so it never happens is an impossibility. So what they do is they put in these regulations and so forth to reduce the safety risk down to an acceptable level. So if we look at this from a safety point, because anything related to the regulations is a safety regulation regarding to the aviation regulators, you will see very clearly that in the time zone and the existence of FPV and drones, the statistics, when you put them on a piece of paper of the number of people that have been killed and seriously injured, makes us one of the safest hobbies and aviation exercises in history. There are more deaths in fixed-wing line-of-sight aircraft. There are more deaths in remote-control helicopters. And when you take into account that there are more drone flights every single day than manned aviation, it makes us look absolutely fantastic. And considering that the hobbyist movement has been pretty much self-regulating for most of this time because the have been lackluster and not updated to meet today's technology. It means that we've been self-regulating and we've been much safer than all of these other hobbies combined, and we're safer than full-scale aviation. So if that's the case, why are we being singled out? Why are we being shown as the bad guys when none of the statistics point in the direction? And it's going, well, we're doing it for privacy. Well, privacy has nothing to do with the aviation regulators. That's to do with councils and lawmakers, and we already have plenty and enough privacy regulations. I can't go and stick a camera on a pole over the fence of someone's house because I'm invading their privacy. That's no different to sticking it on a drone. Maybe
so how are these organisations able to regulate based on sensationalism and fear that, well, these drones may bring down an aircraft or they may crash into cars or people and kill them? And how is this? Well, as you say, the statistics doesn't bear it out, does it?
No. Well, it's simple how they do it, and you can look through history as other examples of how they do it. The reason why they're able to do it is because of fear. So any new disruptive technology that comes into humankind is firstly met with fear because it's a new technology. So anytime that you see something new that you don't understand, the most common way to deal with that and respond to that is fear. I get it when I go full-size gliding. People tell me, I can't believe you go gliding because you're going gliding in an aircraft without an engine. That's dangerous. I'm going, you just think it's dangerous because you don't understand how aircraft work. I feel safer in a glider than I do in a full-scale than in a powered plane. So people deal with unknowns mostly with fear. And it's compounded even worse when it's a disruptive technology. So it's a technology that's basically forced into people's lives that they wouldn't necessarily want. And they react with fear. And when you get fear, then you get the media. Now, the media loves fear. They love hype. Now, if you look at all of these news things, fact or not, 90% of the news that you see is all negative or scary or worrying things. It's all serious stuff. I remember years ago there was a news station that decided they were only going to produce a positive news station, only going to do positive news. It shut down because no one watched it. No one's interested in feel-good stuff. They want wow. This is why these stupid current affairs style programs and these tabloid news journalism places do well because people love that shit. So the media sees this whole drone, the word drone and what's associated with it, because a drone means you're firing hellfire missiles and spying on people, and starts doing all of this freaking out. So you've got a disruptive technology that's being enlarged by the media in, generally speaking, a negative light. Unfortunately, people are dumb. A person is smart, people are sheep, and people are dumb. They will watch this and they will believe it. They will freak out even more. So that makes the people fearful. And then the government, which is serving the people, will see this and do something about it. Now, I was talking about an example of this. The perfect example of this is mobile phones with cameras. Do you all remember when they first came out? All the news outlets were going crazy about privacy. What happens if I take a photo of you out on the street and you don't know about it? I'm invading your privacy. So do you remember early with these phones when you press the button, it had to make a cheep noise so people could hear? So that was why. It was because that would essentially stop you from invading someone else's privacy. It was there.
Further defense.
Yeah, people were scared that it was going to be that. Now, let's go to today. Everyone's got one of these in their pockets. Some people have got two people in these pockets. We've got we're connected live to the internet so that we can take that photo and have that photo streamed across the world within a split second. So why is no one scared about this? Simple. People have worked out that fear was unfounded and they've moved on with their lives.
Exposure.
And that's what happens with all of these disruptive technologies. We go through a phase where people are scared shitless, and then they realize that things are unfounded, and the rules are relaxed afterwards to get back to reality. And the difference with this whole mobile phone thing was it changed when everyone got one of these. When everyone got one, it no longer was dangerous. Now, if you own a drone, do you think they're dangerous? No, you don't. If you don't own a drone and you don't know what it is, what's the first thing you ask? Oh, do you spy on someone with that?
How high does it go?
Yeah.
How much is it?
Yeah, the difference will be is in the future when drones become a lot more mainstream, and so let's say in 5 or 10 years, where most households will have their daily lives affected, or they will have a drone in their house, they will understand the limitations of this and they won't be as scared. So it all comes down to, like I said, not understanding a new disruptive technology, and the best way is to deal with it with fear, and you get that whole knock-on effect that ends up with stupid regulations that don't actually achieve anything or make anything safer, but it makes people feel like something's being done. Now, I would say in a normal circumstance, well, all we got to do is wait a couple of years and that will be relaxed. But
the thing is, though, they say that one in 8 households owns a drone, though. That's the only thing I object to this about.
Yeah. You can look at those statistics and go, but the simple fact is that I think you'll agree, most people haven't actually had hands-on influence with a drone. Most people don't have hands-on experience, and that's the difference. So it's kind of like saying those tribes over in the Amazon that are still disconnected from the Western world. People have gone in and seen people or whatever, or they might have driven a car in or something, and they've seen a car. But if you take them from their tribe into a city and put them next to a highway of cars going past you at 100 kilometers an hour, they will still freak out and think that that's dangerous because they're not used to it, even though they might have seen it. So
yeah, they've got that picture of a tribe with the arrows drawn on a landed hexacopter.
Yeah,
that's quite funny.
But what I was going to say was what I've been talking about more recently, and sorry, I'm trying to charge my computer, but not only that, find the new connection, because of course I'm in America now, and the plugs are different.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. I carry around all different plugs with me wherever I go.
Yeah, no earth pin.
Yeah.
Death adapter.
Okay.
So I guess the problem with drones at the moment is will it get to the point where everybody understands them before somebody tries to regulate them out of existence and say, actually, only people like Google and Amazon should be allowed to do it because they seem to know what they're doing and they want to pay us money?
Oh, is he frozen?
Can no longer hear him.
Can't hear you. Hello.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm back. All right, cool. Yeah, I don't think something like that would ever happen because of like public opinion, what I'm talking about. But what I'm going to say next is what I'm worried about for the long-term future. So all this people being scared of us and so forth, unfounded because of disruptive technology. I was never worried about that. That was always something that was going to come and gonna relax. But lobbyists and big business and so forth, and people with vested interests is what our long-term enemy is, and we need to come together as a group to fight this. Otherwise, we will lose. And I'm not thinking of this in a positive way at all. I'm thinking that there's probably not much that we can do. I'm not saying don't try, but I'm genuinely worried about this. So put all the disruptive technology and people being worried aside, because I truly believe that will die off. And I saw that starting to die off last year. What our problem is right now is, like I said, we are having more drone flights per day than full-size aircraft. So that's now become very obvious that there is a swing towards drones versus manned aircraft in day-to-day usage. It used to be the other way around. And the reason why I say that is because of airspace. So if you go back 20 years, our regulations have been pretty much the same. It changes all around the world, but let's just keep this very broad. You've got 0 to 500 feet. No full-size aircraft in there unless they're allowed to go down there for they've got permission to go down there, or they're taking off and landing. When they take off, they go up above 500 feet. From 500 feet up until the stratosphere is where manned aircraft fly. And that was the important one. This is where we talk about Class G airspace, Class D airspace, blah, 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 blah. It's all above there, because if you're below 500 feet, you've got either a specific task that not very many people are flying, or you've got an emergency, you're landing. So it's no man's land. And like, for example, here in Australia and over in America, that has been owned by the people and been free reign for model aircraft and so forth and so forth. So things have changed because we invented this thing. The hobbyists invented this thing called a drone. And we've said to the world, look at this cool thing. Look what it can do. It's amazing. It's going to make our lives a lot more interesting. Now, we all said that, and then business listened. And the business went, shit, you're right. This is actually a really interesting tool. How can we use it? But more importantly, how can we use it to make money? So they've gone out, and you've got the companies like Google, you've got the companies like Amazon. And what's Amazon trying to do? Amazon's trying to get these drones to deliver stuff to houses, and you've got pizza companies trying to deliver it and so forth. Then you've got every time, it's a knock-on effect. Then you start to see governments going, hey, cool, we can use this for, let's say, a drone that can go and deliver medical equipment to someone who's having a heart attack, and can be a first response drone to medical emergencies. The military is going, okay, we can use this as low-level surveillance and so forth. And it's what the uses are for. As we all know, there's thousands of them. They're unlimited uses. But here's the problem. These businesses, they're big dollars. They're used within the framework of people and cities and so forth. They're looking at autonomous stuff, and it becomes a problem because this kind of stuff doesn't meld well with the rest of the community in terms of what we want to do as hobbyists and so forth, and small scale commercial guys. Essentially, what these guys want is they want that 0 to 500 foot airspace, because that now it's changed. It used to be 500 foot to space used to be the really important one. It's changing because in the next 10 years, that's going to be almost, who cares, do what you want with it, because it's already that's already been sorted out.
That'll be for moving people.
Yeah, well, not necessarily. The way drones are going, we're going to be moving people down in the sub 500 one as well. But the 0 to 500 is becoming the hotly contested one. And because it's open to the people per se, these companies are all scrambling, trying to change it over time, because they've got the power, they've got the movement, they've got the politicians in their pocket, and they've got the money. So they want to change it so that they get ownership, because whoever owns that airspace is really going to have a massive influence on the world situation of drones in the next coming years. So these guys are using all of their power to do whatever they want to own that. And we're sitting here bitching about the price of ESCs. We need to stop bitching with one another and start fighting this as one thing, because we are their enemy. They don't want us. What they want, and what CASA wants, what CAA wants, what FAA wants, what these big businesses want, is they want to stick us in a ball. They want to take us down to the model aircraft fields, limit us to 100 feet, get us to do circuits with the fixed wing flyers. That's what they want. They want us out of their hair, because they're trying to make a business. And the politicians don't give a shit about us, because we don't have any push. We're just having fun. We don't have any money. We can't bribe them. We can't lobby these people. We don't have any power, so we don't care. And this is the way that it's going. If we don't fight this, we can lose a lot of the stuff. And this is why Bruce made that video about the FAA talking about Part 336 or whatever it is over there. This is why he's scared about this, because over in America, they've got that Part 336, whatever. Over here in Australia, we've got Part 101. This is all paperwork that's been put in place a long time ago saying this airspace here is essentially for us. And Mr. Big Business and military, you need to understand that. You can make airspace, but that's what gives us our right to do around. Now, if that kind of stuff is taken away, the government and the lobbyists and the companies can all work together and go, you know what? If you fly, you're going to jail. And people laugh at that. They go, you can't stop us. Well, sorry. This is the time to be scared. They can and they will, because we're a problem to them and they want to swat us off to one side. So yes, you can still go off to, you can still do your secret flights and not tell anyone. But I mean, as a group, we're all about sharing something cool and something. We're not here to break laws and stuff, but we want to share cool stuff. That's just the way that we are. So we need to be very, very concerned about this kind of thing, because this is the way that it's going. And if we lose those basic rights that we've had that are in the I guess you could call it the modeler's constitution, then we've lost any say and they can do whatever they want. So we need to be very careful about that. And all of these lobbyists and FAA and so forth, that's what they want. As a whole, that's what they're trying to achieve. And they're trying to do it slowly. And they know that this kind of thing takes time. They're like, that's all right, we'll take our time, because these modelers and these kinds of people will just get bored over time, and we'll win in the end.
That's it. Over in here, two things, and then I've got to go. I'm so sorry. I've got another show to do.
It's all right. We've got him for next week.
Yeah, we got you for next. Your house. Your ass.
If you can work out what time he has to be on and let him know.
Yeah. Well, at least, I watch a guy called Big Clive, and apparently, in this country, a lot of Chinese import products have been stopped by HMRC as well, and people aren't realizing that. And also Ofcom, like Frank said about asking them for more more milliwatts, and they were like, no, because essentially they can make money from it. Here we're only allowed to fly 25 milliwatts, so it's really sort of,
well, I mean, that's a whole nother subject that we can discuss at the time there. So that's not necessary. That's a different area. You've got airspace aviation, 3D space that we physically fly in, but you've also got radio waves, and that's kind of like, that's almost like another dimension of airspace. It's kind of like saying, I've got a tiny little room and I'm going to fit 300 people in there. It's physically not possible. It can only fit 50 people in there. So you've got to work out how to keep those 300 people happy. And that's essentially what the FCC is doing on the radio waves and so forth. The FCC, they are dickheads in some way, but you can also understand what they're trying to achieve in other ways. And I can talk about that at another point in time. We don't have to talk about that now.
Yeah, guys, I've got to go. I will be on an 80s show called the Thursday night show, and also NJ's playing. What's he playing? Lift Off on another channel. But I'm so sorry, I've got to go. But it was so nice to catch up with you, Chad.
Always a pleasure. And it's a good excuse for me to get out of bed.
Yeah, man. Or NJ, and let me just plant his thing. Anything else from you, Barry Kitten?
No, I look forward to discussing further next week, though. That'd be cool.
Yeah, man. Okay. It's a pleasure, Chad. I've missed you, man. I've been worried about you, but I'm glad you're doing all right. Are you back in Rotor right now?
No, I've never rejoined Rotor Riot, but
you do hang out.
Yeah, I mean, people seem to think it's sort of like, oh, you're left, right, or right, so it's like a screw you, and I'm going to punch you in the face every time I see you. It's like, no, I've still, like, as you've seen, I've been on the show recently. Still happy to work with them, still friends. Like, I love hanging out with Tommy. Me and Tommy are great friends and so forth. And it just there was a difference of opinion going in different directions. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to go that way, you guys go that way. But hey, I'm sure we'll meet up at point in times, and they're happy to help me out, and I'm happy to help them out. We work together. I mean, it's a community. That's the way that you do it. It just, but yeah, no, I'm not officially part of it, and I'm not working out next week what their next episode is. So I don't discuss day-to-day operations. That's all. We're all separate now, but still hang out with them.
Oh man, thank you for popping on, dude. It's so good to see you.
No problem.
And your little beardiness and everything, and cute dog.
Yeah, you got to have the cute dog. It wins the women and the ladies over.
I see. Oh mate, you've been snapped out a long time ago.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's the technical thing. I didn't say that dog's actually the little lady's dog, not mine.
Yeah, right. All right, guys, I gotta go. I would leave this on, but I need the laptop to stream on the Thursday night show. But Chad, if you want to tune in and have a listen, request some 80s song. You were alive in the 80s, weren't you?
Oh yeah, I'm an 80s kid. I'll have to have a think about it. Yeah.
Yeah, no worries. Oh man, I think. Don't tell me. I think Snakes messaged me. Oh man, nightmare. All right, guys. Yeah. All right. Take it easy. Thank you so much, Chad. I'll catch you later. Bye, Curry Kitten. Hopefully, I'll see you soon, and we'll work on that gimbal.
All right.
All right.
See you later, guys.
Thanks,
Bye.
man. Take care. Bye, Curry Kitten.
See ya. Bye.
Bye.
Oh crap. All right. I'll see you later.
See you next week.